Every season should be better than the last.
It's time for some more Overwatch League.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Are you guys excited?
This is where it gets out of control. Well, welcome to the Overwatch League. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another day here at the beautiful Blizzard Arena in Burbank. My name is Sam. Joining me is Hex, and we will be your commentators for the first match of the day here, Boston, Houston. But we'll be getting to that in just a moment. Hex, how you feeling?
Love this place. Love this arena. Thanks to all our friends at Disney XD for joining us as well. We're on the big screen in many, many ways now, and we have great games for you coming up.
Now, today is going to be excellent. Fantastic matches all day long, 4 of them, so be sure. It's perfect Sunday. You know, just sit back, relax, unwind, and enjoy some Overwatch with us.
Generally, I'd just be sitting back watching football, doing nothing, watching highlights, and now it's even better because now you have Overwatch, a better game than football overall. No referees involved in this one. A catch is a catch here.
Yeah, I just want to say to all the Disney XD fans tuning in live today, welcome. Enjoy some Overwatch with us. Hope you guys are going to have fun. We're going to be getting right into it. The first match of the day to kick things off is going to be Houston versus Boston, and already we got a big tank battle, Hex, that's going to be what we want to take a look at.
Yeah, we've got Muma, who's an established star. A lot of people think of him as one of the best main tanks in the league. Undisputedly, almost the best Western main tank in the league, being European or American, of course, and not Korean. However, Fusions, last second, this Boston roster made some changes. They said, hey, you're playing tomorrow. He jumped in, and he had a really solid day on day one, so we expect him to continue that. Look at those fire strike kills. It means he's working well with his other teammates, hitting fire strikes into gravitons and things like that.
Exactly. Earth Shatter kills as well. Big deal. And this is what it's all about right now in the current strategy and how these teams are playing. It's all about coordinating together with your team to really maximize your abilities. And well, we've got 2 of the best right there. You just saw. And well, Hex, we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to get right into the action.
Let's
and
do
we're
it.
going to welcome our first team to the stage. It is the Houston Outlaws.
Huge fan base for the Houston Outlaws. A lot of lovable faces, lovable names. Spree's going to come out first. New addition, Dante will follow. There's the man in question, Muma, right behind. But a lot of fans, a lot of pressure on this team. They started their first match 2-0 and ended up losing 2-3. We call that a reverse sweep.
We do, and I just saw Raucus, the haircut. It was the power of the hair. Has it been trimmed? Is that it? Do they have to wait now? And they're progressively going to get stronger as they get longer?
Is he like Samson? Yeah, you got to put Cool Matt on the stage, right? Cool Matt's got the biggest hair in the league and the biggest diva in the league. So we'll see. Always known for their style and their hair, this Houston team, but good-looking bunch. We'll see if they can come back from what has to be a disappointing loss on day one.
A rough first start for them, getting reverse swept. So they're going to be looking to redeem themselves here against their opponents, the Boston Uprising.
I make the analogy all the time that this team is the New England Patriots of this league, not only because they're owned by the New England Patriots, but just their system and their play. Next guy up, take the spot, and you end up finding superstars all over the place. Fusions comes in, their scouting department is second to none, and this team, I think we should think they're very good, actually. They went 2-1, lost to New York XL, but it's like college football where there's quality losses. Losing 2-1 to NYXL is as good as beating one of the better bottom half of the league teams on the other end. So quality loss, I expect great things from this Uprising squad.
And we really do have to harp on about that. Their management, their staff, second to none in finding talent every time. The last year we were saying the same things. This Boston Uprising roster, we don't know what to expect. Inexperienced players, they come out, they start wrecking face immediately, and it's the same story here. They put up one hell of a fight, impressed many people in their match versus New York, so I'm expecting big things from these guys today. Houston, they can't take this match lightly. They have to go in all guns blazing.
Not at all, because if Houston goes 0-2, their fan base is going to go nuts. They have one of the bigger fan bases in the league. Rabid, I think, was an apt description of their fans right there.
That's a good way to
put it. But Spree's going to be in early on. There's Spree. New addition, Dante, has put some good stuff together, so I'm just excited to see how this match goes, because you get day one matches, and you get first matches. 1-0, 0-1 might be the same thing, but as we start getting deeper into the league, teams playing against each other, we're gonna have a better idea of who's good and who's bad.
I'm just expecting, nice, clean play, as sanitized as their hands. Meme still lives. But we are going to take a look now at the maps that these two teams will be competing on. Presented by Toyota, the map set, starting off with Nepal, our control map.
I love control maps, and I love Nepal as a map by itself. And as we go forward, the team which doesn't win the previous map will get to choose sides on the following map. So control, obviously no sides need to be chosen, but as we move on to Hollywood and Volskaya, those kind of strategies could be interesting.
Yeah, this is going to be that kind of map type that's going to allow for the individual stars to shine brightly. A lot of individual mechanical skill involved in these maps because you're going to be a little bit off on your own a little bit more, can get a bit more chaotic, and so players like Linkser, monster player, crazy damage dealer, he's going to be able to actually start strong here in this match today, I think.
It's one of the map types where damage dealing players can really shine. And there's a lot of map types where you have to move them on to different heroes, but now you can get Widowmakers, you can get McCrees, you can get everything that you want. I mean, Linkser is known as Dinkser because that's the noise it makes when he clicks on a head. Dink, dink, done.
I mean, that's the thing. We already have, just so much talent. The damage dealers are going to be big, but again, in this meta, in this current strategy that the teams are playing around, tanks are so important. So Fusion's definitely expecting to see a big level out of him today.
It's going to be interesting to see this Boston lineup because they do have a couple of tank players in there who are going to have to play DPS players, right? Because they've got Axiom in the lineup right now, mostly known for tank play. Gonna have to flex into something, or you know what? Just don't even play tanks. Just play, or don't even play damage dealers rather. Yeah. Just play tanks.
All tanks, 3-3. That's the strategy that we've been focusing on going into this league. 3 tanks, 3 support players. Big health pools, really tough to take these guys down, but that's why it's so important that they're on point with their coordination, using their abilities, lining up those ultimates.
Yeah, I agree, and nothing exemplifies teamwork more than the Boston team right now. They're just really figuring it out. No necessary all-stars or giant players on this squad, but they get it done, and who cares? Who cares if you got names as long as you get wins?
Exactly right. Well, we're going to be getting into the first match. The countdown has begun. 15 seconds on the clock, and we'll see what these guys have got in store for us here. On control, the teams can change up their rosters a little bit longer, so we're not really going to dive into it until they're actually moving towards the point. But this, think of it as King of the Hill. They're looking to control the center of the map. There's a point that they're looking to gain percentage on. First team to 100% will win the map, the point. So let's get into it. Already, right out the gates. Triple on the line here for Boston. And on the Houston side of things, we're going to have a bit more of a damage-focused strategy, Hex.
It made sense when I saw Jake was on the opening roster that they'd be running a Pharah on this map. Very good on Nepal. Now, Pharah's an issue for these tank-heavy compositions because she's in the sky. So you need something that shoots up and shoots at her with a reasonable kind of feedback there. So it's going to be interesting to see how they try to deal with Jake. Another option is to just not deal with it and kill everyone else.
Yeah, just focus and stay together on this point, hide behind that Reinhardt shield, hide behind Fusions, essentially. He's going to be holding up that shield, trying to block the damage, trying to keep his teammates safe. And in the meantime, he's also going to try and smack people in the face with that hammer. Probably feeling a little frustrated he can't throw the hammer, at the far up, but then how's he going to get it back? Whoa, Mooma! Already opening up strong. Fusions lets his shield down for a second and gets blown up. This is going to get a bit rough now for Boston. They don't have any way to mitigate this damage.
Yeah, very good play on the Hammond there, but now he might get focused down, but Justice range from above. That is a very fast ultimate from our boy Jake, able to take down 2. And even though Boston captured first control of this point, you see it ticking up, it seems like Houston should be able to regain control.
Wow, even throwing in the barrier here. Kelix wanting to really put the fight to him. Still tough for them to eliminate these big, beefy tanks, but the focus fire is good. Jake and Mooma finding the 2 kills. The supports are out of it, and Fusions looking to take her along. Well, there it is, the ride down to the bottom. Gonna go check out that snowman.
I actually really like what Boston did there, though. Boston only has 1 kill on the map, but it's not about kills. Kills doesn't win you the point. It's about staying on the point, gaining control. So they got 1 elimination that entire fight and still have 43%.
Exactly, you can see it at the top of your screen, 43% for Boston, and now we're counting up on Houston's side now that they control the point. 25% counting. Spree out of his mag, will get the self-destruct, sneaks it in. Aegon and Axiom out of the fight. And this is a strong hold here, looking up here for Houston Outlaws. They're finding all of the kills, and so they will be in a situation now to tie things up and take the lead on our first map.
Definitely
so far, it's paying off for him, Hex.
Great positioning with the self-destruct over top. All that burst damage that you have to hide behind a shield or a wall to get away from. Really nice over the top. And now Houston is in pretty good as far as their ultimate abilities go. They're going to have Transcendence, and now they're ticking up to, they've got an EMP ready. Barrage should be online as well. You want to use EMP so no one can do anything, no abilities active, and then Barrage over top and just rain justice all over.
There it is. Perfect positioning from Dante. One of the best Sombras in the league gets the follow-up. Hack on. No, it's just a tin can. They're going to crack him open. He's out of it. And just like that, Houston Outlaws looking fantastic so far, Hex. They even have 2 ults still online here, and Muma's not far away from the mines. They came out swinging. I think they really want to make up for their questionable start here in the league with their first match. The reverse sweep, that was a painful loss for Houston. They're definitely looking for redemption here.
A very solid hold. Right now, the next fight's going to be the most important one. If Houston's able to hold on, they will win this first stage in our best of 3 on Control. However, Boston has a lot of great abilities online. They're going to start using them.
Already, we got Coalescence. There's Jake, though, dropping in. Kellex and Axiom already out of the fight. Jake gets traded, but he's done his job. 2 kills to start things off here for Houston. Raucus with the trance trying to keep his teammates alive, and so far Houston doing a good job of just dodging the damage.
Jake brought back to life with the resurrection ability of that Mercy, and Houston is looking like they're holding strong. This has been so one-sided despite what the score looks like. It has been 23 eliminations to 3 in favor of the Houston Outlaws.
That's the brutal thing, and there it is. Houston Outlaws with a strong start on Nepal. 1 point to their names. It's best of 3 on this map, so they'll be looking to pick up the second one here. But an excellent performance from them, just getting the kills. And Boston Uprising, 3 kills at the end, just not quite cutting it. You know, we're talking about how it's not all about kills. You got to get that control of the point, but you still have to eliminate the enemy team at some point.
Well, it's a lot easier to get control of the point when the other team's back in spawn after being eliminated. So at some point, yes, you must do damage and eliminate the other heroes on the squad. It started off really well, and I thought that was really smart, but it just didn't seem like Boston was ever able to connect with their ultimate abilities in any sort of meaningful sequence or tandem at the very least. But we have another stage upcoming. We're going to head to the sanctum of Nepal, and we'll see what each of these teams wants to bring.
It is looking like a mirror matchup so far. So similar strategies, both sides, and now they're just going to go crashing into each other. Boston Uprising have adjusted. We've got a Winston in play now, but we've also got a Winston on Uma. They just taking the fight straight to him. Axiom dropping dangerously low, kept alive by his healers, but now Aim God is going to get focused, and Uma just cleaning up right in the back line. 3 kills for the tank.
There's a reason we highlighted Muma on the pre-show here. It's because he's one of the best main tanks in the entire league. Always knows where that line is between, am I going to die if I stay here, or will I get 3 kills if I stay here? Really intelligent player, doesn't die unnecessarily, does all that damage, and now Houston in control on second point.
He was already one of the solid tanks in the season last year, and he only seems to be getting better as we progress. So going to keep an eye on Muma for sure, but Boston Uprising now, they're going to have some ultimates. Perhaps the Primal's going to come online here in a moment for fusions, and so we'll see if they can get something out of that. But right now, just that poke battle, Houston just baiting them, waiting for them to commit, waiting for Boston to come in and try and take this fight. There's the grab, though, already, and Muma's gone with the Primal, looking to punch some people in the face, or at least cut this team in half. Exactly what he's doing, trying to separate these guys so that they can get picked off.
Primal Rage, 1000 HP, a darn near unkillable scientist monkey right there as Muma's able to knock that off. And Primal Rage can be so good, especially on this point, because if you knock people off, gravity exists in the Overwatch universe. Knock them off the edge and they are a quick elimination. Fusion's actually used his Primal Rage ability on the other side of things, didn't get much out of it. So now Boston back to the drawing board, trying to find something here. Maybe a self-destruct from No can open it up.
Just gonna go with the rally to pick things off here from Blase, giving his teammates armor and a little bit of movement speed, trying to get them into that fight all the faster, and it may pay off. Axiom already gonna find the kill on Jake to kick things off. Raucus was just a second too late with that Transcendence, not able to keep his teammate alive. So Boston Uprising now with the edge in this fight. Axiom with the grab online as well. That could be useful if they're looking for the cleanup, but right now I think they're just trying to take the fight to him. No, he's gonna throw it into the wall, hides it. Muma pinned up against it, but he does manage to get out.
Boston on the point, but is being contested by Houston, so they're not getting any progress. They opened the fight up really nicely with a kill, but now it's Houston coming back onto the points. Boston still trying to just swing this back. And now Houston, if they feel they've lost this fight, they'll just leave, and that's exactly what they do.
Exactly, but leave at the right moment. 97% on the board for Houston Outlaws now. They are looking fantastic. One good fight for them, and they're going to lock down this first map of the series. So Dante with the grab online, that's a big ultimate to keep an eye on. When you see that check mark at the top of the screen, that ultimate ability, what these teams are building up to, these big team fight abilities are ready to be used. And Dante already throwing it out. Grab in play. Dante gonna find the kill on Kellex. Blase follows as well through support. Dead for Boston right out the gates. And this is the big moment now for Houston. If they can just clean up quick, they flip the point, and Houston Outlaws now the ones to pick up this first map. Can they get back in time? Note is going to be trying to touch the point, and he's a second too late. Houston Outlaws with an excellent start. 2-0 victory to kick off the series.
A rather dominant 2-0. If you look at the overall map stats, it's 36-6 when it comes to elimination. If you only kill them 6 times, you're going to have a hard time actually winning a map. We'll see what map 2 looks like after the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back from the break. We're live here from Los Angeles, the Blizzard Arena, and it's a packed house on this fine Sunday morning. Hex, excellent start here for Houston. All the fans here in the arena have been going bonkers, and yeah, their team's playing great right now.
Well, let me play Wet Blanket, Rain Cloud, whatever you want to call it. They've also won Nepal on their last match too, and ended up losing, at the end. So I need to see consistency out of Houston. They are going to make some substitutions to the roster as well. The starting 6 went out there, did a really good job. Yep. Boston showed almost no signs of life, so I expect that to change. But we've got a couple people coming in for the Houston roster. They want to switch up strategies as we go into map 2.
They do, but one of the guys who really hit the ground running, Jake. I don't know why I'm mentioning ground and fair, considering the feet never touched the ground, but there it is, Jake. From on high, in the sky, raining in the pain. Really making a difference for his team right out the gates.
That's great looking skins right there.
Yeah.
I love those Outlaws skins.
Yeah,
it's
pretty clean.
Pretty ill. But the big thing is only one death. Not ever getting pressured out. Almost across the board for Houston. It's almost no deaths really for anybody.
Speaking of skins, Hex, remember, if you're watching on Twitch, link your account to Battle.net. You'll get those tokens, and you'll be able to get those skins as well in-game. So, if you're a fan of Jake and his Pharah, just go get the Pharah skin. Houston, all the way.
I'm just a fan of free stuff.
There we go.
Anything free, unabashedly a fan of free stuff.
Let's take a look at the subs here. Did see a few holes in the Houston roster in the break, and we will have Cool Matt subbing in for Spree. So, his ears must have been burning, Hex. You were calling him out for the hair. It's definitely looking like a glorious quaff today.
Yeah, I kind of want to quaff it up a little bit more, but here comes Linkser coming in from Jake. He's one of the damage-dealing players that we mentioned earlier in the show, and I've been casting Linkser for years, and I've always thought Hollywood is one of his best maps. So he's very good at Widowmaker, the sniper versus sniper battles. I'd still have imaged in my mind him on roofs on second, just dinking away at the other Widowmaker.
That's the thing, exactly. Map architecture, the strategies will change up. You'll see different heroes given the different positioning, and you're right. Linkser is a monster. I mean, seen as one of the best Widows, and especially in the Widow v Widow duels.
Exactly.
He's just your sniper's sniper.
Yeah, exactly. And if you can win that battle, that means there's no one to really pressure you. And then you're just sitting playing single-player game, just clicking on heads and eliminating targets right there. So Matt coming in for Spree makes a little bit of sense. He's kind of their diva ace. He's been playing that role, but also has shown some flexibility in his ability to play over to Zarya. Matt is one of the players who actually started playing Overwatch on a damage-dealing role, moved over for his team. Overall, he's just a team player. What do you need? I got it. What do you need? I got it. I will fill this role. I will do it.
I'm getting a flashback to last year effect. Somebody kill Matt, please.
Somebody kill cool Matt, please.
Well, it just doesn't die.
It kind of shows you how good Matt is. He's so annoying, and that's what you want to be. If you can annoy the other team, you've already won.
That's it, exactly. Get in their heads. It's a part of the victory, a part of winning here in all competition. But as you guys can see in our wonderful stage, beautiful, we have Hollywood coming up next. So Boston Uprising going to be starting things off on the attack, on the offense. Houston Outlaws on the defense. So we'll see what Houston have in store for us here at the beginning as the countdown is about to begin.
In our hybrid map style, the point is to take the first point, much like the control point map that you just saw. You take that first point up to all the way progress, and then you start escorting this limousine all the way to the end. And that's why it's a hybrid between control point and escort. You take that limousine with an Omnic executive all the way to his parking spot. You battle over really important things here at the Overwatch League.
And just roll your eyes as he complains about traffic, but hey, it's Los Angeles. So, getting into it already. In terms of the setup on defense here for Houston Outlaws, it's looking like we'll see a similar strategy from the last point on the first map. 3 big, beefy tanks and the supports to back them up. Boston Uprising, it's looking like it's going to be a similar play here from them as well. So we will have that Ryan-on-Ryan fight to kick things off. The big shields and the big hammers.
Boston Uprising has their roster set where they have a lot of tank players on it available to play so far, so they're going to play to their strengths. And we'll see as these two very similar compositions clash. Let's keep an eye on Aim God as well. The Zenyatta hero able to apply healing and debuffs to opposing heroes. So if you get hit with that Orb of Disharmony, I can't remember, Discord is what it is, you will take extra damage. So see if you can actually connect with those.
That's a big part of it, especially when you have these big beefy tanks. You got to figure out a way to whittle them down to start getting them close enough so you can kill them and remove them from the map. Discord gonna play a big deal. Aim God already going for the volleys. I like it. Trying to pick off those squishies in the back line, not quite finding the shot. So Boston Uprising right now on the high ground. Cool Matt is gonna go ahead, fly up there, say hello, introduce himself, back off to the rest of his team, and they're gonna be hanging in here. Houston trying to play the angles right now, but somehow Raucus getting picked off by Note. Definitely not part of the plan here for Houston. That's a key support out of the fight immediately.
It's a big deal. Not only is the healing important, but being able to do damage on your own Zenyatta so that you get to your ultimate ability and you have that in advance of a Graviton or a Shatter, really important.
They've done a good job so far, Houston, of trying to wait it out, but it's not going to happen for him. Raucus is trying to float back into this fight as quickly as possible, but he's going to turn tail and run. Get set up for the second point defense now because Boston, no mistakes on their side. They get that advantage, they kill off Raucus, they stick together, and they slowly whittle down the rest of Houston.
Very one-sided. 6 kills for Boston, 0 for Houston thus far. And when we talk about the 3-3 composition, 3 tanks, 3 supports, a term that's thrown around a lot by the players is snowballing.
Right.
You win that first fight, you're in a good position with your ultimate abilities being online to win the second fight and the third fight. So Houston is now on the back foot, needs to find a way to stabilize.
They're about to crack open a 6-pack over here on Boston's side of things. 6 ultimates online. Now they have a huge advantage going into this next fight. 4 of them for Houston, but Lynx are still a little ways off. Grav is going to get thrown in here, only going to catch Mooma. Mooma going to get panned, but he's going to survive it. Dante can't say the same for him. He gets blown up. The combo, self-destruct, works out, and now Boston, once again, have that edge, have the advantage in the situation.
Boston has invested a lot of their ultimates, but they do end up winning the fight. I think the big question for Houston is, if we lose one player, do we still go in? Because you still now want to take the advantage as far as your abilities, called the economy of your ultimates up top. So now they're in a better position with more ultimates ready, big game-changing abilities than the Boston Uprising. So Houston, by the numbers, by the paper, should win next fight.
Should win. But this is all about progress right now. Pushing that payload just a little bit closer to the map, to the point there, the yellow triangle you see, or triangle, rectangle that you see on the ground. That's
it's a rhombus. It's all right.
It's a shape. It's a shape, and it happens to be on the ground. That's where they need to push that limousine. But the fight's going to kick off now. Dante looking for an angle with his grab. Could try and get them all together. Does not want it to get eaten by the D-Matrix, though. That's going to be what he's trying to focus on here, just trying to survive. Just going to throw it into the chaos, but Trance is there from Raucus. Will find the combo. Cool Matt blowing up free. And there's the fight paying off for Houston. But look at everything that they had to invest into it, Matt. I mean, that's huge. They only have 1 ult left.
They did use a lot, and Boston's going to come online with combo pieces in the 3-3 play are so important. You want to Graviton, knock down the shield, and self-destruct. Graviton pulls everyone together, shield goes down, self-destruct, well, it destructs other people as well.
Blows up everything. Rally there from Blase to kick things off. The grab in as well. There's the pin on the shield. Timing is impeccable. Nope finding 2 kills with the self-destruct, and Boston Uprising swinging right back with the team kill. Everybody on Houston sent back to spawn.
Huge play there. They're going to be able to push this. It seems like Houston might be in position for another fight as they try to get to this checkpoint on progress here, and they will rally out with the Brigida rally.
Looking for it. Oh, wow. Shatter just thrown out there by Fusions. They will get the kill on Muma, so it works out in the end, but it was a little dicey. Houston Outlaws deciding to take that fight, and it does not pan out their way. And now we see the final stretch, the home stretch here for Boston. They have 3 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock to push the payload all the way to the 3rd point at the end of this road.
Fusion's just been charging his ultimate ability so fast, 1 minute and 13 seconds between his Earth Shatter coming online, so I'm absolutely fine with him using it there to guarantee that you're getting 2nd point. When you get that checkpoint, that's where the card stays, your spawn also moves forward, and you get an extension on the clock, so really important to secure that.
So now it's a bit of the duel here. Game of who's going to drop the shields, who's going to give an opening. Muma has got his ultimate, his Earth Shatter online. So it's on Fusions right now to be blocking it. The rest of the team trying to stay spread out on Boston's side. They don't really want to gather up, but the sound barrier going to be used here by Boink to initiate. Houston really looking to try and take the fight to him. Bit of a shatter there. Aimgod going to get overwhelmed immediately by Dante, and Muma winning the duel versus Fusions. Houston Outlaws coming out on top of this one.
2 ultimates used to be able to win that fight right out the doorway, but now the Boston Uprising has swung the economy into their advantage. Momentarily, they will have every single ultimate and resource online with which to choose how to engage in the next fight.
Well, that's unfortunate. Dante getting a little ahead of himself, gets picked off by Aimgod. That's going to reset his energy.
That's really bad. Azari is so important in these 3-3 compositions to keep your tanks alive with a allied barrier. Here comes the grab. See if they can find Paydirt.
Oh, the timing again. Fusion's split second, but it's still going to result in the kill of Linkser, and Muma is dead as well. So this, they're making real progress here, Boston. They've got time on the clock as well. We're approaching the 2-minute mark, and this is crunch time now for Houston. Their backs are to the wall.
I really want to see the Zarya battles here, because if Dante can hit a grab, it's really good, but also D.Va's got an ability that can absolutely eat a Graviton and make it not do anything.
Well, rallies used on both sides from the teams. They're going to get that armor rolling. Dante looking for his opportunity to get the grab thrown in, trying to group him up, does not want it. Again, he's got to keep an eye on the D.Va, make sure that his ultimate does not go to waste. So far, Houston doing a good job of pushing Boston back. Sound barriers thrown in, the shatters as well. This is going to turn into all chaos. They're all over the place. Raucus with the trance, trying to keep his teammates alive. And Dante finally finding the opening here for the grab. Can they execute on the combo? Doesn't look like it. Raucus gets the D-Mech on Note, but then the shatter comes through. Note is vulnerable, but he's still going to survive. And Axiom as well, but not for long. Fusions will find the kill on Boink, but we're traded. Axiom is out of it.
Fusions charges across the map. Now the question is, does Boston want to continue pushing or just wait, regroup, and reset? With only a minute left to try to complete the map, it seems like they're going back to spawn and trying to find a new game plan. Both economies pretty much reset here. Not a lot of abilities online for either team.
Everything got thrown into it that time around. We will have the rallies coming online here for Linkser and Blase, so those in just a moment. Linkser's got his online. He could preemptively use that to get Houston beefy.
I think you want to sustain this next fight and hope that Fusions gets his shatter up, try to win it off of that.
So they're going with Boink first. Sound barrier's been used, and now the delay on Linkser. He goes for the rally now to try and maximize that armor. And right now, Houston are a tough bunch to kill. They do not want the fall here. Boston Uprising still pressing forward. Fusions has the Earth Shatter online, decides to throw it out. Looks like he found a couple targets as well. The grab is in the fight, but it's countered out by Kumat. Self-destruct, point blank. Fusions and Kellix are dead. And this should be it. Houston now in an excellent position to hold. It's not looking likely that Boston will pick up a 3rd point on Hollywood.
Getting a lot more value out of their self-destructs than the Boston Uprising. Houston's in a game position. They're going to try to come in and touch it last second. Self-destruct gets nothing.
Oh, buddy, the Shatter's throwing out, trying to keep him off of it. Fusion's doing the best he can. Heal will get focused immediately. Kellix gonna try and touch, not gonna happen. Axiom trying to run up, but it's not gonna be in time. And Boston Uprising falling just short of the 3rd point, but still, solid offense from them.
The limousine not quite escorted to the VIP parking spot, but that is a very good push We'll see what the other side looks like when we return from our break.
Let's get into it. Welcome back from the break. We saw Boston pick up 2 points here on Hollywood on the offense. Now they're going to change sides. They're going to be on the defense, and it's the Houston Outlaws who will be on the offense looking to do better. So, Hex, what do we need to see here from Boston to hold off the assault?
We're definitely not going to see a second half of Hollywood if both teams can play it. There's the DJ in the mix right there, our friend Lucio. Boston's going to play a similar composition, I think, almost any map. Their roster demands it at this moment in time. Maybe they can add some damage-dealing players later in the season, but right now I think you're going to see a lot of 3-3. Offensively, it seems like they want to push 3-3 as well, at least for this first point. It's very much a standard play on both sides to play 3 tanks and 3 supports.
We saw how effective it was for Boston on the offense. They took that first point quite handily after killing off Raucus, so we'll see if Aim God is going to stay alive here. He'd obviously be a choice target for Houston Outlaws, getting on top of those squishy supports in the back line, but that's why you got the big beefy guys in front. Fusions facing off against Muma, both shields up right now, and Houston have found their way. Going for the wrap, up onto the balcony. Now they're going to occupy this high ground. Note could potentially go up there to say hello real quick, but for now, nobody wants to overextend. Nobody wants to be the first one to make the mistake. And well, Houston just decided to take the fight to him.
Might as well. It's really good defense by Boston and not give them anything to look at the high ground. They're going to take the other high ground as well. In any art of war or battle, high ground still really, really important, as both teams still not getting any kills just yet. A little battle of attrition thus far.
Great defense there from Kelix with the boop. Maybe he was still on cooldown though, because Dante's got to find the kill on him. One of the supports dead. This is exactly what happened to Houston Outlaws on the defense to kick things off. Now it's about Houston just keeping it together. Aim God gonna throw the trance in. Lasse as well with the rally, overlapping on the support ultimates. Axiom has got the grabs, and this is gonna be grab on grab action. Self-destruct in the doorway, trying to push it around, and Fusion's just gonna go up. Houston Outlaws doing everything right so far on the offense.
That's really rough for Boston. They decided they could fight 5v6 and try to get into it even though they lost Kelix earlier. The problem is they used ultimates and lost. We talked about the concept of a snowball. Houston's able to win this point. It's not all doom and gloom for the Boston Uprising though, as they were able to force out Houston Outlaws to use some of their ultimates.
It's about the same timeline here as well in the bank. 4:45 on the clock now for Houston Outlaws to push the payload for the second point on this map. Now it's on Boston, looking like they want to challenge early, want to try and take these fights at this choke point here, not really allow Houston to get through too comfortably. And already you see Boston pushing forward, aggressive from their side. Fusion's swinging the hammer. Muma on the point. He's going to be looking to get that shatter in if he can find an opening, but the self-destruct thrown out by Note, hoping that that would open things up with an initiating kill, but it's not going to happen. And now Boston just giving ground a little bit.
The self-destructs from Boston have not gotten them a whole lot of value. Only 4 self-destruct kills compared to the 7 from Cool Matt on the other side of things. So a little bit of an issue with Note, not using it in combination with other ultimate abilities.
Shatter thrown out. Looked like it found one, but the bubbles are there. Rocket's still going to find the kill on Blase. We got the grab thrown out as well. No follow-up, and here's Houston's grab getting into the mix. Boston getting pinned to the payload, and Austin getting run over.
about as clean as a fight as you'll ever see right there. Houston able to mop up the Boston Uprising.
Taken for a ride, okay.
A little bit interesting that Fusions is still holding onto this Earth Shatter. Usually when you have Reinhardt's facing off against him, it's Shatter, Counter Shatter, and those things are usually used at the same time. Now that he's got it in his back pocket, perhaps it can be your initiation. A Earth Shatter which knocks down a couple is great for a self-destruct. We'll see if they try to utilize combination plays.
That's what the name of the game is with these strategies. Overlapping the ultimates. There's the angle on Raucus. Fusion's not going to be able to get the Fire Strike though, but Puma and Boink in the meantime getting overwhelmed. Raucus hanging on by a thread, but Axe can pinpoint accuracy. Finds the shot on him. And that's Boston holding.
And the same note, if you get a really good Shatter, sometimes you don't feel like you need to use the self-destruct. Everyone's on the ground, why don't we save some resources for the next fight? A little shy of 3 minutes on the clock remaining for the Houston Outlaws to push this payload to the checkpoint.
I'm liking the Fusion is really getting up in there. That Shatter, it's cutting that team in half. The rest of the team falls as Boston, not able to play their game. Kelix rollerblading. I mean, I hope he's going to clean up after himself. I'm sure his rollerblades got to be leaving marks on those walls.
It's a really interesting rotation. Houston has gone through the right side, and they're now switching sides with the defense. And again, Houston is on the offense trying to push, and they've just got a strange positioning here.
Well, sound barrier thrown out now from Lucio. Point going to keep his team up. Rallies used as well on both sides. There's the grab thrown out. We're just going to have counter on counter here. Self-destruct is in. Beautiful play from Fusions. Eliminates Muma's shield, and that's going to equal a kill. Houston Outlaws getting sent back to spawn, and Boston Uprising looking a bit more comfortable here, Hex.
Sometimes you can tell a fight is over before it's necessarily over by who dies to certain abilities. When you lose a Lucio and a Zenyatta, both heroes which are main cause is to support and heal the other team, the fight's over. It's just over.
Yeah, it's not going to go your way at that point without the support, without the healing thrown in by Aim God, by Kelix. Raucus and Boink. These are the key, the core that you need to keep an eye on. Well, let's see now. Houston Outlaws facing off. They've got a few more ultimates to work with here from check marks. Boston Uprising, though, going to be looking to make something happen, and they are going to get brought in. The big move from Matt again! Finding kills with the self-destruct. Axiom and Blaze out of it. Kelix as well. I mean, right now we're just seeing a superior level out of Cool Matt. The Cool Matt Muma combo is working so well for him.
He is definitely the coolest of Mats on his team, able to get so many self-destructs, but that's a team effort as well, to be able to knock down defensive abilities, calling out when the timing of maybe they don't have an ultimate up to protect themselves, and they've just really found a way to pull it off here. 9 self-destruct kills from Cool Matt.
Solid work from Boston, though. They've been working this clock. Houston Outlaws, 50 seconds on the clock now to get this payload through. So Boston willing to take this fight. They're able to get through the choke point. They're out in the open. Rally's going to be used by Linkser, hoping to get an initiate. They do manage to catch Blase a little out of line, but Kelix going to commit the sound barrier here, keeping Boston up. Houston Outlaws, however, still have their ult. Muma's looking for that Shatter.
Whoever hits a Shatter probably wins this fight. If it's Fusions, he wins the map. A huge Shatter. Wow, Muma's in the air.
Yeah, excellent timing, but the Transcendence is there to keep him alive. Raucus, always Johnny on the spot with that one. Kelix, however, will get caught out in the open, and that's not going to help things. Shatter thrown in by Muma. He's got the shield up as well to dodge the self-destruct. And Boston Uprising now on a knife's edge. Looking dangerous.
Uh-oh.
Grab is not going to help things. The shield was there to protect the team, however, and Boston still fighting. But Houston, they've got a huge advantage now with the sound barrier thrown in. They're going to survive this, and they will succeed in picking up the second point.
Cool Matt able to use his defensive matrix to eat the graviton of the opposing team, and now it's all over for second point. They will get there, extend their time, extend their abilities. 90 seconds added to the clock as Houston tries to finish out this map.
Exactly. No time left on the clock for Boston. But a minute 20 is not a whole lot to work with here for Houston. They need to play clean. Perfect Overwatch at this point. Has to go their way right out the gate. Dante's got that energy, so he's just looking to do a little bit of chip damage. Yep, there's the spot. They're going to pick him out and now falls back. Good information gained here for Houston. They know what the setup is going to be. And Boston not wasting any time at all, diving right into this fight. Shatter into the back line, looking to capitalize on it. They did manage to catch Blase out of position. Linkser finding 2 kills for Houston.
Now there's a trade though, his point goes down, but now Houston cleans up the rest as Linkser is going to hold the forward button and keep swinging that flail around to heal the rest of his team. And now they're in a great position here. However, One way or another, Semler, this is the last fight coming in.
Exactly, and Boston, they sack themselves in that fight, but they gain an edge in the ultimates. Kellick's gonna have that sound barrier momentarily, whereas Boink, nowhere near, and Aim God will have Transcendence as well. So, big support ultimates online, but Blase getting caught is not gonna help things. He had Rally as well. He will respawn close by, however, he'll be back into this fight quick enough. And now we have both support ults online here for Boston. So this is what the name is now. They need to be clever about how they use them. They can't afford to drop anybody here, Boston. Self-destruct thrown into it. It's looking like no Aim God under the angle. Trance was there to keep him alive. And so far, Boston looking very tight on this defense.
Now it's time to get kills of your own and push them all the way back to spot. Here comes Aim God yet again, takes down Dante. The Shatter connects though. We'll see if they can clean it up.
Oh, monster Shatter from Muma takes Aim God for a ride that he didn't enjoy. Muma just trying to pound him into pace, and he's gonna do just that. Another kill for him. Axiom fighting back on Boston's side. But Houston, they've got 5 bodies alive right now on this point. Need to keep it clean though. Sound barrier is in. Boink doing a good job of keeping his teammates up. And Boston Uprising right now, it's all just about the contest. Do not let that payload move into the rectangle.
Shatter comes down, doesn't connect with a whole lot, so they have to follow it up with the Graviton. They're all sitting there, just shoot at him. Fusion's able to find one huge defender's advantage on these last points as the respawn point right behind him, and Boston is gonna hold on.
How is it that Fusions lives for that long? They're still so low though on the Boston side, but the Reses are coming back into it. They're respawning and it's looking good now for Boston. Self-destruct, the victory is there, and Boston Uprising will win the second map in this series, tying it up 1-1.
You always feel really good heading into your last fight defense when both your support ultimates are online. Just live longer, you survive longer, you respawn a little bit quicker. 1-1 going into the half. We'll see you after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
What's up, guys? Malik here, back at it again, and I want to make sure those of you at home go get your Twitch All Access Pass for 2019. Now, just like last year, there's a ton of great stuff that you won't want to miss. You'll get access to the Command Center that lets you watch from any player POV during every match. It also comes with 200 Overwatch League tokens, so you can rep your favorite teams in the game, and you'll also get 20% off any new merch on the Gear Store website. And the best part, it's all only 15 bucks. The thing basically pays for itself. So just head on over to twitch.tv/Overwatch League and get your 2019 All Access Pass today. Houston and Boston are both looking for their first win of the season, and at the half, it is a tight one. It's all tied up 1-1 at the break. Welcome back, everybody. Malik here at halftime with Zoe and Doa. We're getting ready to break down that first half. Guys, was this match as close as you thought it was going to be so far?
I mean, maybe a little bit closer than I thought it would be. I mean, we're all tied up going into this. There's been some interesting strategies, but one thing you got to keep in mind with Boston is they're still playing without Color Hex, and I think until he comes in, it's going to be tough to really judge this team.
Indeed. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump straight into the highlights, starting off with that first map, Nepal. Oh my goodness, man. I was actually surprised to see Jake starting, but it made all the sense once we saw him actually perform.
It really did. He had a great Pharah, 15,000 damage per 10 minutes. That's actually insane. And honestly, Nepal was all Houston Outlaws. There was not much Boston got done. It was great to see Spree back in the mix. We usually see more of Cool Matt on that Diva, but Spree adds a lot of versatility since he can flex over to the Zarya if needed, and that will give Dante the opportunity to actually play the Sombra for that team.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, it was interesting to see kind of Boston kicking it old school in the very first point. They were trying to pulling out the quad tank against the quad DPS. And yeah, you can weather a lot of damage here as we look at some Hollywood highlights. But if you don't kill anybody, that's the kind of big problem there. That's kind of what happened.
Right now, if I'm not mistaken, there was a crazy disparity between Final Blows and Nepal.
That is what you would call a crazy disparity.
Yes.
Yeah, 32-6. I'm gonna come over here to
Just
make sure
point at it. Point at it.
32-6. This number is much larger than this number is.
By a lot.
That's a problem for this team here. Yeah. So
Love
there
it.
you go. That's what happens sometimes. But
This is what happens when justice does actually reign from above. That is exactly
Go
what
on, Zoe.
happens.
Go on, Zoe. All right, let's go ahead and jump on over to Hollywood. It looked like Houston was going to take that momentum and kind of roll over Boston, but Boston was able to pull that map out at the end.
I mean, I think the thing is it came down to ult management between the two teams, and I think Boston did kind of edge out Houston a little bit with that. I think Muma performed well, but I think Fusions is still kind of showing that he's a little bit better of a Reinhardt right now, but we're going to see. But at the end of that map, though, it's true. Sorry. The end of that map was actually a battle between two Lucios, right? It was a great sound barrier from Boink to maybe give Houston just enough to push through.
Yes.
But then Kellex was bouncing around on the wall above the payload, keeping it from moving, and that's what gave Boston the respawns, let them win the map.
Man, it's so good seeing Lucio back in the meta because we're seeing some awesome stalls. We've seen so many this week, guys. Well, guys, we got another half coming up very soon, so make sure you stay tuned because we'll be right back with some more Overwatch action after the break.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Join T-Mobile and score $20 to the Overwatch League shop on February 19th. Download the T-Mobile Tuesdays app so you can respawn this season in all new gear.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. We are live here from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. Tied up 1-1, Hex. It's a very close match indeed between Houston and Boston.
It's a good match, and even though it's early in the year, you got to start getting those wins on the board. I mentioned Boston had a quality loss. Houston, not such a quality loss, getting reverse swept by the Defiant. So you really don't want to start the season 0-2. That goes without saying, of course. So going to be a tight one here. 1-1 going in, and a de facto now best of 3 as we go forward to our 4-map set.
I mean, nobody can take Boston lightly, but it just occurred to me that perhaps Houston are looking to make it interesting right out the gates. They taunted us last time with a 2-0 lead, looking to close it out, couldn't do it, couldn't get it done. They got reverse swept. Now we're going into a match where it's very even between both of these teams, and it seems like Boston are starting to hit their stride. It was looking a little questionable there on the first map of this series. They were making some mistakes, not quite linking things up, but on Hollywood, they look like a different beast.
I think that Houston needs to start exploiting the notion that Boston probably can only run 3-3 right now. They don't have the players on the roster available to start running damage-dealing comps and kind of interesting things right there. So you know pretty much what Boston's going to play. Now it's a matter of if you can execute against that composition, against that style effectively enough to get the victory today.
Oh, we're going into Volskaya next. As you guys can see, this is going to be the assault map. 2 points is what these teams are going to be fighting over. First the one, and then you go to the other. This is going to be interesting because we've seen a variety of strategies already used on this map in particular, Hex.
Even last year, before it's kind of 3-3 became the meta, as it were, the best strategy in all of Overwatch to play, we saw some really interesting things on Volskaya Industries as a map. A lot of long-range damage dealers and your Widowmakers, sometimes McCree on last point. Yesterday, and even the previous days of Overwatch League, we've seen a lot of 4 damage dealing heroes, single tank, single support. So this one's a wild card. Throw it up in the air and see what lands.
We've also been seeing quite a few, well, matches that went the distance and then some. Because it'll just keep going. If you keep tying it up, if you each get 2 points on your offense, it'll just go until you run out of time. And so we've seen crazy scores on this map in particular. We'll see how it plays out now between Houston and Boston. It's looking like Houston will be starting on the defense. Uprising will be on the offense.
Defense, nothing real tricky here. It's a little bit of an interesting wrinkle when you run 3-3 without a Reinhardt and instead put a Winston there. Very different play styles, not the permanent shield up front, but the ability to drop a shield over your team on a cooldown.
Exactly, the bubble is what we call it. We'll see if they're going to burst it on this side of things. Boston Uprising looking like they're going to have fusions on the Reinhardt to start. We have seen teams just go for scouting and then adjust their setups according to what they see, but it's looking like Boston are going to stick to their guns for now at least.
You see Muma getting all the support in the world up front, even though he's playing a more passive style of Winston. He's got the Orb of Harmony on him, healing him from Zenyatta. He's getting emergency packs from his Brigida, which heals him for a burst. And Boston have taken an interesting angle. They're trying to take the high ground away.
Yeah, taking the high ground now, and then they're going to move down into the cubby, into the locker room. Gotta be careful though, don't want to overextend until your shield is in front of you. Exactly, there's fusions moving in to take that position. And now they're gonna start setting up shop, but again, Muma, he's gonna have all the support in the world from the rest of his team. And Boink is there to just contest on the point as well. So long as one of the defensive players are on the point, Boston Uprising can't make any progress.
It's a war of attrition thus far. Cool Matt to the side, just poking away on his Diva, trying to get ultimates up. No one's really found a target to isolate and dive until just now. Muma finds Kelix Lucio on the side, able to call that to his team. They dive him, he's down and out.
Now he's cut off, and you can see Muma already. He knows that eventually Kelix is gonna have to run back in here somehow. And Muma's getting in position to cut him off now, Dante as well. This is gonna get a little dicey here for Kelix. He can be fast, but Muma's already closing the door on him, delaying things further. It looks like finally they're gonna just go ahead and move on back into it. Fight could come into this as Kelix, the ults come online. Aim God gonna go for the trance as the grab gets thrown in on him. Muma cleaving everybody, but he's not gonna find a kill just yet.
It's a big kill to take Linkster's Brigida down there. So much sustainable damage is done from that Brigida there, and the healing she provides as well. With those follow-up kills onto Raucus and Muma, respectively, the Boston Uprising should be taking control of this first point.
Such patience being shown from Boston. They could have fallen apart, overextended after Kelix goes down. They could have gone for a reset. Instead, they just take their time and slowly whittle down the defense. Houston Outlaws now going to be the ones, well, we'll see in just a moment here. You can see they're respawning way back over here. This is where the second point is located. And so Boston Uprising now going to make their way over here into the factory. Big thing to keep an eye on here, the check marks for Houston Outlaws. Raucus and Boink, the 2 key support ultimates that we keep talking about, those are about to come online. So Houston now are going to be really tough to take down.
On assault maps especially, the offense has to overwhelmingly have a victory over the defense because of where those respawn points are from the defense. And something as small as a single kill on your defensive hold might just win you the fight because the offense knows they have to get 2, 3, even 4 kills sometimes to capture the last point.
Exactly, it has to be a definite victory. And Houston, I like this from them. Finding the kill, they're not using any of their ultimates. They're still trying to gain that advantage. In the meantime, Boston Uprising right now, it's only Blase and Kelix who are kind of a little bit behind. Axiom, he's about to get that grab online. Aim God about to get that trance. So we'll be keeping an eye on those now as Boston once again gonna go for the push. Fusion with the shields up.
They've got 5 minutes, so they can really pick the fight that they want to have. Now that you have ultimate abilities coming online, there's no hurry for Boston to take it. Another interesting angle of approach as they've now established a presence on the point.
Primal is in, Muma's there, trying to get that, exactly that Ryan out of position. The Shatter doesn't connect with anybody, thrown out there by Fusions. There's the grab, getting chucked into the fight. Axiom trying to find an opening, and Muma will get blown up by Note. Note finding the success on the self-destruct, and that's going to be big. Axiom just blazing away now in the chaos. The self-destruct gets thrown in by Boink. Rox has already used his trance, but the rally is online for Linkser. Still, there's going to be some real progress made here for Boston Uprising. One tick picked up, should not be picking up a second, although they might. Two ticks picked up, and now it's on Houston to get in here.
Self-destruct over the top. Houston trying to bring this one back. They try to get the charge and self-destruct combination. However, Axiom continues his reign of dominance here. That one kill on the fusions, though, keep that in mind, might be enough. And now with Axiom falling, 2 ticks for Boston is going to be it. Time to retreat.
It's going to be it, but the high point, pretty decent. One good fight for Boston, and they're going to be locking down this second point. It's so fun, Hex, to see like how things have changed on this map. It used to be that, you know, you could have teams that would just hold indefinitely. They were so good on the defense. But what we've seen so far in the first few days of this season of Overwatch League is that teams are very good at just picking up that second point, and then we're flipping. We're getting into scores of 4-5, 6-5.
I think teams have also managed expectations in those final fights as well. Instead of going to just win the map and win the match, can we get 33%?
Yeah.
Can we get 66%? That progress is permanent once you get it. So you're piecemealing this final capture together.
Exactly, you can see 2 of the blue bars around that B at the top of the map. That's the progress that's permanent for Boston. So let's see, are they going to be able to get the job done here? We've got Grab coming online here for Axiom. He knows where the Diva is. He knows that the Diva is totally out of position on the other side of the point. So he's going to go ahead and commit. Counter grab getting thrown into it. Self-destruct as well. Ultimates all thrown in wholesale here from both teams. And Fusion's getting overwhelmed. Houston Outlaws looks like they'll hold.
Bit of a rough fight there for Boston as they committed some of their very valuable resources into that lost fight. Now Houston on the chase down. No one gets out alive as Rockus will take down his opposing number on the other side of things. Houston in a good spot. So only a moment ago I said we had 5 minutes left. Now half of that, a little less than 2.5 minutes now on the clock. So about 2 more attempts for Boston to get more progress on this last point of Volskaya.
We've seen that Boston have been able to keep their cool in the past. They got the job done on Hollywood. That was through good teamwork, coordination, and now this
so cool.
There's the angle. Getting taxied in on the side. Houston should definitely have spotted this though. So, but it's a different angle. They go right through that choke point now, and they're gonna go right onto the point itself. So Boston looking to set up shop here behind Fusions.
They really like taking this angle. They took the platform on the way in. Let's take a look at these shatters, see if Fusion can hit a big one.
Yeah, it's about finding that angle. If they can knock him out of position, self-destruct is there. Grab gets thrown in as well here on the Houston Outlaws side. Cool Matt going to not find the kill, but Linkser still manages to remove Note. Cool Matt getting overwhelmed as well, and now that's going to be the delayed grab thrown in here from Axiom. No big follow-up to it, but some decent damage getting dealt. Fusions with the shatter on one. They're finding some kills here, Boston Uprising, but will it be enough? Still 3 players alive for Houston Outlaws. They're going to be able to draw this out a little bit longer.
Blue in the entire left side of the kill feed means Boston is winning this fight handily. Only a little bit more percentage to get the final completion on this point as well. Now stalling tactics are coming in. You see Houston changing heroes to heroes that are ultra fast, ultra quick. Not going to be enough as Boston will complete the first half of Volskaya Industries.
Excellent work on Boston's side. They kept it together despite the stiff defense thrown in by Houston Outlaws. We'll be taking a quick break before we see if the Houston Outlaws will have a successful offense of their own. Welcome back from the break, everybody. We're going to get into the second half of this map. Houston Outlaws versus the Boston Uprising, and it's the Houston Outlaws now. Their turn on the offense.
Boston is going to be running a similar composition that they have all map, which has been working out for them. Might as well not switch things up now. They're able to complete the first half on their offense, so if Houston's able to complete their offensive push, we'll just do it again. Let's go again, play Volskaya second half.
The thing is, don't even try, Muma. Don't even try. We already saw Surefour. Surefour actually committed to the sim. Muma, not buying it. Not buying it.
Well, I mean, the sim always comes out in offense now,
Yeah,
the
it's
scout.
the scout.
Yeah.
I know, but he's going to swap off of it in a second, and then it's just, yeah, okay. Done. See?
Well, that's why you're running all these scout heroes. Cool Matt was on the Sombra, it's going to be invisible and be fast. Move behind him. It seems like now that they know what the other team is doing, they're committed to a different composition. One interesting wrinkle here is Raucus, who played Zenyatta all last half, is now going to be moving to the Moira. So less damage dealing ability, but more group AoE healing, area of effect healing.
And if they get lost, they'll always have the Lighthouse to show them the way. So,
Coalescence, a great ability. Heals and damages. Doesn't matter about shields either, goes right through them. So really cool stuff from Raucus. We'll see when they finally try to initiate.
oh wow. Going for the hop. Maintaining my high ground as long as they can, but Muma's going to go ahead and take the fight to the point itself. Fusion's hidden in his bubble, will be able to back off now. And once again, so long as Boston keep a body on that point, they'll be all right. They need to be careful about not getting split up, however. Kellick's going to be able to make his way back to the rest of his team. But this could be a first tick picked up here for Houston. Yep, sure enough, they've got 33% and counting now.
Permanent progress on the point now with Axiom falling. This might just continue going Houston's way. It does just that. Boink and Dante put their name on the board, taking out their counterparts as well. There's Raucus. This is all Houston on point A.
It really is. This first point really does turn into a game of chicken. I mean, we're getting these control points. It's 3-3 versus 3-3, and then it turns into who's going to flinch first. So far, Houston has done a good job of just keeping their cool.
Yeah, who's going to use ultimates first, who's going to do things like that. Now, Fusions has not had these amazing Earth Shatter ultimate abilities, but he's getting it up every minute. 1 minute and 9 seconds, his average ultimate charge time.
He's a monster. This is what we expected to see. Dante about to get the grab online. He knows the node is turned the other way. We're going to get the shatter in, though. Big one getting thrown into it. And the grab follow-up as well. Self-destruct straight on the point, and the shield is going to be there to save the Boston Uprising, but they are dropping dangerously low. Not, however, the case for Houston Outlaws. They're dead! 3 of them.
Raucus just going to reset. You lost a couple of heroes early on. We mentioned how Assault, you have to play so much better as the offense. Just to the right of Brigitte right there is where the defense is going to respawn. Aim God looking to launch volleys across the map. Of course, doing extra damage will help him get his ultimate ability up faster.
That's what it's all about. And hell, hit a couple of headshots. Might get a kill as well. A feel-good moment. Jonak, not on the server right now.
Unless you're on the receiving side of those headshots across the map. You're like, oh man, I just left spawn, what are you doing?
Oh, sorry. All right, Houston Outlaws, once again, pushing on to the point. Second point now for them. Let's see, are they gonna get it done? Now he's grab angled there, thrown in by Axiom. Muma getting taken for a ride. He gets a bubble, so he will survive, and the sound barrier is there as well, but the focus fire, too good. Fusions, he can't survive. Nearly had a shatter online as well. Good start shaping up here for Houston Outlaws. They just need to find another kill here to perhaps start that snowball rolling down the hill.
They're starting to get to their ultimate abilities. It started out, I thought it was just going to be like a bunt kind of play for Houston, but they found themselves a couple kills. Now they're committed, now they're into it. However, they lost a couple of their tank players, going to have to retreat. No progress on the point. I think Houston accidentally fought there. They were going in with such fewer resources that I thought it was going to be like a bunt in baseball. We're going to sacrifice here and then get something out of it at the end. They're going to sacrifice the fight, hope that Boston used abilities and they didn't, but then they started winning and then they actually got abilities online and started getting abilities, yeah.
Getting excited, like maybe we're going to get this done, and then it doesn't happen. Fusion back in that fight with the shield, kept his team alive. But Houston have got a couple of ults online now, so it's about getting this shield down so that Muma can get an angle for the shatter. That big stun can really turn the tide. They're going to cut him off. Blase getting caught out in the open. Not going to help things. The grab gets thrown in, and the shatter canceled. Muma just throwing it out there, and that's going to wreck the rest of his team.
They're committed, but Muma's down. That's a really big loss. The only loss so far, though, for the Outlaws as they continue to push. Progress on the point. Still some stall. They get off the point to go fight, actually.
The grab is, well, really thrown in there, but now they get back onto the point with 3. First tick, second tick, looking good here for Houston. The rally thrown into it here on the Boston. No, side on the Lynxer side, it's Dante who will find the kill on Kelix, and they're just gonna go in swinging. Fusion's getting focused, not gonna survive. Axiom, dodges the body block by Coolmat. And now they're just trickling. They're just trying to get in, but they're not gonna happen. Boston Uprising. Really long, drawn-out fight, Hex. One at a time, dying.
It's a game of inches and a game of seconds right there. You saw Kelix in there using Lucio's ability to ride up walls, try to stall out the point and just exist. He dies right before AimGod is able to get out there with Transcendence and heal him up. If Kelix lives, then he's able to move people around. Might be a different final fight, but a good catch there. A second earlier from AimGod, Kelix probably lives, and we might just still be seeing a fight on Volskaya last right now.
A good catch from our observers there as well, our in-game directors, giving us Lynxer's perspective. That key stun, canceling out the shatter from Fusions, really putting a, a stick in the spokes. So Boston now, they're going to be the ones flipping. With less time on the clock, they're going to be starting off on offense. So the onus is on them now to get some progress on this first point. Houston Outlaws on the defense should be feeling pretty comfortable. 3 minutes in the bank for them. They're looking good.
Sometimes there's an advantage that doesn't really mean a whole lot, like a minute 13 to a minute 10. No one really cares about 3 seconds, but 2 minutes is a really big deal. Boston has to be feeling some pressure right now because with only a minute on the clock, you really only have 1, maybe 2 good fights at point A.
You can squeak a second, but it's going to be chaotic, and you're just going to have to get a little lucky there.
You're almost going to have to win without ultimates because generally ultimates take a minute or so, minute plus to charge.
So this will be getting into that overtime quick, but we'll see. Boston now moving forward, sticking to their guns, not really changing up the strategy. More of the same from them. Houston side of things, similar approach as well. Fusion's really sticking to that Rhine, but we have Mooma on the Winston, so a little bit more mobility on Mooma's side. He'll be able to dart in and out, but Boston once again taking that path above the locker room. High ground is theirs. They're going to be able to walk off the balcony if they'd like. Kelix kind of keeping an eye on things. But 40 seconds on the clock now, Hex.
Now they only really have 1 fight here. They're going to have to commit. They're going to have to go for it. The first kill on either side is going to be so important.
Man, Mooma nearly got punished there. He dropped so low, but excellent support from his healers to get him topped up again to dodge it. And he will survive, but not the same for Raucus. Note the assassin removes the healer, and now Lynxer's going to feel the heat. Trying to get the punish on AimGod, trying to trade it out, but AimGod getting great support as well. He will survive, and Boston Uprising now looking great. All the kills going their way, and just like that, they had a minute to get it done. They don't even need the minute, Hex, they get it done before that.
An absolutely brilliant play by Note. It's so much in Overwatch is about read and react. He reads that Raucus is alone on the high ground momentarily while Boink is off doing something else, finds that single target, eliminates him. He isolated the healing target, able to take him out. Nice play from Note, and now they get an extension on the clock. Not much though, probably only 1 chance at last.
Yeah, for 1 chance, it's going to be 1 fight. But they do have an edge. They have ultimates online as well. The rally already getting used by Blase, but AimGod and Kelix have both got their ultimates. This is just going to be a big, chaotic ult fiesta. All the teams, all the tools, everything getting thrown into this. Who's going to come out on top? Who is going to flinch first? Raucus kicking it off with a kill on Fusions. Isn't going to help things here for Boston. No kills with the self-destruct. Nope, going to throw in one of his own, though. And there it is. Mooma is out of it. Quick res, though, for him. He should be able to find his way back in here, but Boston still finding the kills. Not giving up just yet.
Note is on the heavy carry, but Fusions comes back in. He died early in the fight, and now he's back. They're swinging away, trying to get as much progress as possible. And now 33. Can they get 66?
Oh, it's looking
Not
good.
quite.
It's looking likely they're going to get 66. They could pick up all 3 right now. This is unreal. Boston, they might pick up 4 points. It's looking good. So likely now as they're getting all of the kills. 6 alive, and Boston somehow starting off their offensive push with a minute, managed to pick up both points versus the Houston Outlaws.
With a minute and a prayer, and sometimes when it is down to your last fight, players will play a little bit looser. You're not worried about just overarching strategy. I got ult, I'm gonna use ult, right? It's
throw it in
exactly what happens. Fusion died early in that fight, but it's a great job by the rest of the team to stay alive, use ultimates, let him come back and sustain through the fight.
Once he gets back into that fight, we're gonna get Note's perspective. He saw that Raucus was already low, saw that Raucus was cut off. What map awareness from Note to pick up that high-value target and start the ball rolling for his team. This is the level that we expect to see from Note, though. He impressed all of us last season, and it seems like he's coming into it now, finding his own after the long break.
It is kind of strange that last season no one talks about him as maybe the best diva in the league, because we were all so blinded by self-destructs from Poco, and there were so many the mechanical play of like the NYXL and London divas as well. But Note has just been as consistent can be. He gives you everything you need defensively, has those giant plays, and I've talked about this before. If you give me a diva that I know exactly what they're going to do all the time, I take it every day of the week. I want consistency out of my diva play, and no one's been better than Note.
Linkser, I like this. They're probably not going to give him a target to work with, but it would be fun to see some Widow play out of him. We did talk a bit about it at the beginning. One of the best damage dealers in the league, but he will be relegated to the Brigida. And they're sticking to their guns here. Houston Outlaws and Boston both. But Houston have a bit more time to work. 3 minutes. They shouldn't be feeling the pressure quite as much. They're running back to spawn now after getting the scout, so perhaps they've got a back pocket strat. It is looking like wholesale changes. Excellent. We will get Linkser on the Widow, and Dante's going to the skies. He's on the Pharah. Okay then, Hex, how do you think this is going to play out?
Well, this is what I was talking about that Houston needed to utilize. They know exactly what Boston's going to run. They're not going to throw a curveball at you, so find a strategy that's able to beat it. And under Volskaya, especially, we can spread out all these different angles from all your damage dealers. The multiple damage composition can work.
Once again, though, same thing, but this time there is backup, and he will get demeched. Might end up costing him. Boink, however, going down is going to hurt things here for Houston. In fact, Raucus and Boink both dead. And that should be the end of this offensive push here for Houston. They're going to have to back off. And we'll see. Do they like to stick to their strategy here, or are they going to go for the change? They've got time. They still got time to go ahead for another push if they like.
They did reset here, but I think the point of this strategy is that you want to get your EMP up. Of course, Sombra's ultimate shuts down the other team, unable to use any abilities like shields, like healing, like barriers, and then they're extremely exposed to what Dante's shooting from the sky, and Linkser as well.
Coolmat's having a tough time of it right now, though. Only at 29%
slow bro
for his ult, so it's slow burn on his side of things. Linkser, I like it. Clever angle, and he reaps the rewards. Headshot on Axiom to kick things off. And the follow-up on Note. There we go. You can look for the combos, or you can just hit people in the face. Linkser doing work right now. Fusion doesn't know which way to face. He's gone. Linkser, once again, with the help of Dante, Houston Outlaws will pick up the first point.
It's so impressive Linkser's able to start hitting those shots right away, because a lot of Widowmaker players need warm-up. It's a very precise, mechanical hero. If you're not hitting headshots, you're almost doing nothing. It's just difficult to do. He's been on Brigida, does not require the same level of finesse, and he comes in cold, but ends up coming in hot.
Yeah, that was the big one to start. But again, with the mind games, where am I going to be now? They don't know where I'm set up, and it works perfectly for them. And now we're going to start having those ults online. Could have the combo, could have that EMP barrage. Dante's got the barrage coming up as well.
With only 1 minute and 15 seconds, I think you just wait for Coolmat to get EMP. You have to wait for it. That's your ace strategy. That's why you're running this composition. EMP, use it with something else, and hopefully win the point. But they don't have a ton of time.
Well, Kelix gets hunted down by Linkser in the back line. Linkser's gone for the aggressive play with the Tracer. And there it is. The EMP gets thrown in immediately, as well as Dante's barrage. They are finding the kills. The question is it enough? 2 tanks, 2 supports still alive for Boston. They're going to be tough to kill quickly. You got Kelix is dancing around on the point right now, trying to keep Note alive. Not going to happen. Self-destruct thrown out, though. That's going to make things a little frustrating here for Houston. They're going to have to back off.
That self-destruct was not intended to kill anyone. It was just that he needed a new, fresh mech call down. And when Fusion's getting a kill, Note getting a kill, it's back to the drawing board for the Houston Outlaws. They've got Pulse Bomb to work with. Now, this has to be the best Pulse Bomb of Overwatch League history. He's got to hit his support in the back line and hope that support walks to his other support, maybe take down some tanks as well.
Well, we're seeing the changes now. They have to go through with it because they need to ferry him back to the point as quickly as possible. Linkser needs to stay alive at all costs. He's going to be the one touching the point to buy time for his team to get into position. They're running back as quickly as possible. 3 seconds on the clock now, and the fight begins. And already Linkser just going for it. Pulse Bomb not going to connect. Now they have nothing really to work with on the ult front. Instead, it's Boston Uprising, not wasting any time, committing to sound barrier, taking advantage of these ultimates that they do have. And now Aim God's got the trance as well. It's going to be so difficult to kill off anybody on Boston. Houston Outlaws, they're on the edge of losing it, Hex.
These Uprising supports have done such a great job of keeping each other alive and using the abilities at the right time. You use Sound Barrier to make sure your Zenyatta stays alive. He stays alive, he's gonna have Transcendence if you need it. The support play for the backline of the Uprising has been great.
Excellent work from Boston. They kept it together until the end. We're gonna take a break and see if they're going to be able to win the series on the final map.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
What's up, guys? Malik here, back at it again. And I want to make sure those of you at home go get your Twitch All Access Pass for 2019. Now, just like last year, there's a ton of great stuff that you won't want to miss. You'll get access to the command center that lets you watch from any player POV during every match. It also comes with 200 Overwatch League tokens, so you can rep your favorite teams in the game, and you'll also get 20% off any new merch on the Gear Store website. And the best part, it's all only 15 bucks. The thing basically pays for itself, so just head on over to twitch.tv/Overwatch League and get your 2019 All Access Pass today.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. Boston Uprising currently in the lead, 2-1 over the Houston Outlaws. An excellent performance from them on Volskaya, the last map. They kept it together the whole way, Hex.
It's got to be deja vu all over again for the Houston Outlaws fans. They started off so strong. They looked absolutely dominant on their first map, but Boston finds a way, kind of slugging along. I think that's the personality of the team right now. We'll get things done as a unit, not giant flashy plays. Everybody on Boston's playing pretty well.
So there we have it, Dorado, potentially the final map in this series. These are best of 5 series, so we're looking for the first team to claim victory on 3 maps. And right now, Boston, they're looking very good indeed.
Houston has to win this one, otherwise the series is over, and they start their season 0-2. Some map wins, but just shaky, inconsistent play. The strategy works really well onto Volskaya last, but the problem with that strategy is once it works, your ultimate abilities as damage dealers are not as good as the other team's ultimate abilities. Tank abilities, like Graviton Surge, like Earth Shatter, are fight-defining abilities. So you've got a Pulse Bomb, which, you've got Infrasight. They don't
that
really
was
do
kind
as
of
much.
a pulse bomb from Lincer at the end.
A little bit.
All right, you built it up, Hex. Could it be the caster curse?
Probably. It's probably my fault. I'm sorry.
Houston fans, you know who to blame right here. This guy. That's it. It's done.
All right, so now we're on Dorado, which is going to be our escort map. You get on the payload, push it all the way to the end, and that's about as simple as it gets, folks. See Boston, no surprises here. Well, a little bit of a surprise. We'll see if they run it on offense. Nope. Boston gonna run the exact same thing they always have. The other side of things, it is the Houston variation of 3-3 with Muma on the Winston.
And Lincer on the Ana. So again, that mechanical aim. This is the most mechanically demanding healers, let's say. In terms of aim, you have to connect the shots to get the heals off, and then you have that sleep dart as well. Force people to take a nap. But Boston Uprising now, making progress, as you can see, on the payload. And it's really, oftentimes we see fights happen around the arch. It's looking like they wanted to go ahead and take a little bit of a poke earlier than that on Houston's side of things.
That's really interesting here. Some of the kind of small interplay is going to be between Lincer and Note. Can Note really deny a lot of the abilities of the Ana? But no matter, as Lincer is the first to fall, the tank line for Boston just dominating, putting on so much pressure.
Wow. They're rolling over him at this point now. Boston, once those squishies are out in the open, if the communication is good on Boston's side, I mean, we've seen it all series long. Note, he's an assassin. He's going to dive right in there, jump right on top of him. And I mean, he's in a 2-ton mech. That's not a pleasant thing. So there we go. First point picked up for Boston.
It's Fusions and Note working well together that has impressed me the most. Now, these are tanks that we call vertical tanks, dive tanks, ultra mobile tanks. They have the ability to get to high ground, then back down, as opposed to, say, a Reinhardt or a Zarya. So you're going to try to utilize that positional advantage your tanks are going to give you.
So we see change of position now for Houston Outlaws. Well, trying to maintain a position on this high ground for as long as possible. Whereas Boston, just going to be trying to get that as much progress as possible out of this payload. AimGod has got his ultimate online. Notes does as well. It's on Houston's side, not quite there, but Dante's got that grab. He just came into it, so we'll see how he's going to use it. Fusion's decided to go ahead, play some handball here, just batting them all over the place. And there's the grab, getting thrown out. That's Dante kicking off the fight, looking for the combo with Cool Matt, but Boston Uprising completely dodged that one. They lose Kelix, and Fusions eventually gets hunted down. Same result in the end. They're going to back off and look for the reset.
They nano boost Raucus to make sure he lives through it. Nano boost, a burst heal, and then some invulnerability as well. It was an interesting attempt by Fusions to get to the back line and try to get attention from the other team. He knew he had Primal Rage at the ready so he could heal up to 1,000 at the press of a button. Just didn't work out because Houston was playing very disciplined.
Yes, Houston, good management. But now we're going to have the grab thrown in on Boston's side of things. Blase kicking it off with a kill on Huma. Self-destruct from Note, doesn't even need to find a target. Now they've killed that high-value tank. Cool Matt's going to go down as well. And this is great for Boston. They're going to be able to get some serious push now.
Yeah, the question remains whether Houston's going to start using support ultimates here, not with the deaths that just come out late. Now Houston's in a position, a little nap on the cart, still pushing. Kelix is contributing.
It's as good as it gets. You've been on road trips, Hex.
But Houston's in a good position to stabilize on this next fight. They're going to wait. They've got both support ultimates. Now both teams have both of their support ultimates up as well. So now it's just about timing and who gets more value out of those ultimates.
Dante fully charged up. The Angry Bees are ready to swarm. Moma going for the Primal right now to open things up. Definitely looking to try and take the fight to him. Going to land right on top of Axiom. Signs to play it safe, though. He's going to back off.
Not a whole lot of work done there. Dante's Graviton is up for the Houston Outlaws. Can be a game-winning kind of ultimate.
And he throws it right into the doorway. Fusion's caught out in the open, cut off from AimGod. He will get overwhelmed. Great focus fire here from the Outlaws. And that's the strong start to the fight. That's exactly what they were looking for here. 2 minutes, 51 seconds on the clock for Boston Uprising. And they're right in front of the second point.
So Boston trying to set up for this next fight. They don't have Transcendence, but they will have a Rally, a Graviton as well.
Yeah.
We'll see what they want to do order of operations-wise. The small counterplay here is Cool Matt versus Axiom. Axiom's going to try to hit a Graviton Surge, but Cool Matt with Defense Matrix can completely nullify it.
I like this from Boston Uprising. Change up the angle. Don't keep just running headfirst into a wall. There are different entry points here now that the payload has made it past the arch, but Muma's there to cut them off, at least in the doorway. Still, they're going to go for it. 9-0 boosted. Muma going to become a very tough target to kill, looking to do as much damage as possible. He will survive for now. The grab gets thrown in here by Axiom. Cool Matt will be the first to die. Sound barrier thrown in from Kelix as well, just making sure that his teammates have that extra health. And the grab gets thrown in by Dante now, but there is no real follow-up apart from Muma, but he's going to just tickle him. That's not going to be good enough. And it's looking like Boston now is going to make some more progress.
That should have been a defining grab as well, because AimGod and Kelix did not have ultimate abilities up to heal their whole team. They both got very, very low, but actually nice play by Blase to stick around and inspire them with his healing on the Pepita to keep them alive. Now the tables have turned. They're going to continue to push onto this last point, add some time to the clock.
Yep, getting those spawn kills, always pleasant. Going to delay things further here for the Houston Outlaws, who will be now spawning from right here in this room. Third point, the circle there on the ground. That's where Boston are looking to push this truck. Now let's see, can they get it done? No, surviving, taking a little bit of damage to kick things off. Cool Matt's got the ult. Dante not quite up to the grab just yet, but it's only a moment's time before he's going to get it. And this is the question, does he throw it out immediately or not? Already ult's getting thrown into the fight. Dante finds the kill on Fusion, point blank. Muma, however, caught in the corner, dropping dangerously low, gonna get cut off from his team. And now Dante just gonna go into the mix. Kelix and Note, everybody on Boston getting in on this fight, wiping Houston Outlaws out.
There's the bell, there's the horn, there's the signal. That is a team kill. Boston eliminates every member of the Houston Uprising. And that was on a hint. If they didn't kill Muma there, I don't think they commit the Graviton Surge to it. The moment that comes across, they throw everything they got at it. And now we got 2 minutes left to finish.
Oh, they're caught out in the open. They do manage to get out of the angle just in time. Kellis with the sound barrier. They're keeping everybody in it. So Boston Uprising now the ones to really start applying the pressure. Cool Matt getting D-Mech isn't going to help things. No D-Matrix here. They don't have to worry about a grab just yet on Boston's side, but Axiom's doing the best he can to get that online quick. That could end it right here. He's getting close. Axiom, if he survives this, the rally doing a great job of keeping everybody up. And in the meantime, Boston just finding the kills. Axiom gets the grab, immediately throws it out. This could be it. This could spell defeat for Houston Outlaws.
A fantastic rally, gives everyone the speed. They give all the armor right there too. A really nice play by Blase, even though not really the flashiest of heroes. Rapida absolutely necessary, and you can just absolutely see how well they're communicating. Let's check with our insider down on the floor.
Thanks, guys. You might be wondering out there who is shot calling for Boston since the Gamsu trade to Shanghai. Well, I talked to Coach Huck at the half, and he told me Axiom and Fusions have picked up the mantle because they're both very vocal main tanks, and the team communication is as solid as ever. So that's all I got for the insider down here. Back to you somewhere next.
Excellent, and that is it. You know, Fusions, I'm glad to see, you know, newly added to this roster, first time up on the Overwatch League stage, but he's still confident calling the shots. And when you have your main tank who's got that kind of confidence, I mean, he's right there in the thick of things. He's going to be spotting the details quicker than most, and you want to have that guy to be the one calling the shots.
You can see him chirping on the floor, and I think it's a very aggressive play style. You actually could see it in their gameplay that their target selection was working really well. Everybody's focused on one, then the next, then the next, then the next. And the issue is sometimes in comms and get a little bit muddy, as we say, where everyone's talking. Might as well be no one talking at that point, because you're talking too much, you're not listening. But it does seem like Boston's teamwork overall, facilitated by that communication, has been very strong.
Yeah, it's only getting better, and that is key moving into this current strategy where you're getting these big tanks. If you're gonna kill anything, you have to be coordinated. You have to be focusing them down. You know, well, on Houston's side, it's going to be them on the offense now. So 3 points on the board for Boston Uprising. Houston Outlaws looking to match that. They're going to be going home empty-handed. Bit of pressure here on the Outlaws. They've had a rough start to the season so far, so let's see. Will they be able to keep it together here? Already Boston with an aggressive hold this time around. Dante in the back line, looking to get the hack. Exactly, that's the perfect target. Removes the shield, going to make life difficult now for Fusions, only just now, but then, hey, they're trading kills back and forth. The back line getting pummeled.
Trading kills, but Houston's going to come out on top of this. It's a really long walk back for the defense to try to get in position to fight again. So now, all Note wants to do is stall out as much as possible. When you're on the payload as the defense, it means the offense can't push it. You just want to be as annoying as humanly possible at this moment.
Well, Note and Kelix can both get into the fight fairly quickly once they respawn. It's up to the others now to run their way back to the arch. They're going to want to try and stop them at the arch, not let Houston Outlaws move through this choke point for free. Boston now kind of hanging back.
Yeah, you see there's no Boston Uprising players on your screen because they're all regrouping, waiting at the end. Now it's time to get back in.
Now it's time to get back in, but Dante's going to have that EMP. This could be brutal. Couple of seconds, he's in position to get it to work, but decides to back off and play it safe. Good call there from the Boston Uprising, but once again, the focus fire is too good. Houston Outlaws, despite it all, finding the kills. Dante with a stylish play. Doesn't let Axiom get out intact. And now for the next fight, he's got the EMP. This is good for Houston. They're looking fantastic so far.
The aggressive translocation ability to throw that out there, then morph to it right away, gets him the kill, taking out those low targets. I think they planned on EMPing, then they're like, oh, wait, we got a couple kills, just save it. Just wait, hold on, no need.
I think he got caught. He was invisible, and I think he just took some damage. He came out of that, backed off immediately. Timing didn't line up.
He was detected, but all things have worked out as Houston Outlaws now with several ultimate abilities up. Boston getting there as well, but Boston needs to win a fight to stabilize.
Here it is. Everybody up on the high ground like this. That's why he's going to get the EMP off. It's going to be good enough here for Houston Outlaws. 4-player silence. It does wear off eventually, though. Boston now trying to stick in it, but it's not going to happen. Note dies, and Houston Outlaws is going to make some really good progress here. If you're wondering why Note is just spinning in circles, he doesn't have to worry about reloading on the mech guns. He's just hoping to connect with Dante.
infinite ammo on the Diva. You can just hold down fire and spin in circles. The only downside being you're a little bit slower while you're doing so. However, Sombra, our invisible hero, when she takes damage, becomes very visible.
Now it is grabs in nades as well. Blase really trying to capitalize on this. He's going to be able to keep his tank alive, though. Note hanging on by a thread. Gets topped up. Sound barrier thrown in here by Boink as well, and it's just a chaos. Ult's getting thrown in left and right. 2 kills coming through from Boink. Getting it in, but Lynx are going to get overwhelmed. The focus is solid on Boston's side as well. Lynx are dead, means that it's looking like Houston Outlaws will have to back off. 3.5 minutes still on the clock.
That is the stabilizing fight that Boston needed. Threw a lot of resources into it, had to hold on to it. They will do just that. And now Blase on the Ana has his Nano Boost ready. Nano Boost. Big burst healing right away if a target gets low, and then you do extra damage, you take less damage as well, and best of all, you glow a really cool shade of blue.
Get all electrified, powered up. We're saying, let's go. Oh, what a sleep. Get out of the fight. Let's go. Boston really looking to take it to him. Fusions, he did get boosted. Will be able to survive, though. Good focused healing coming through on him. Boston Uprising burning valuable time off the clock here for Houston Outlaws. Houston Outlaws not really with any ults on the line. It's going to be Fusions right now looking for an opening to just chuck that shatter out in the open. If Muma's out of position, yep, sure enough, going to pin him behind the wall. Nothing coming of it, though, as the team has to rally around him, and Fusions cut off from his team a little bit too long there.
Boston has played so well when they play together and so poorly when they haven't. You saw the team get kind of cut in half and split apart from each other, and then those kills came in fast and quick for the Houston Outlaws as they will get to the second checkpoint and add some time to their clock. That is the goal for Houston. If they get to the end of our Dorado map, we will just do Dorado again with lesser time in the bank.
Positioning is going to be key now, but you're right to point out they need to stick together right now. Getting cut off, Fuse is trying to make plays. It's admirable. Sometimes it's just not going to work out, and that was the case there on the second point defense. Dante, however, from on high, looking for the EMP, gonna find it. That's gonna open things up here for the Houston Outlaws. Immediately finding the kill on Fusions. The follow-up hack on Kelix, he's no good. Should be dying, but his team, Blase's too good at keeping him up. Not gonna let him die for free.
This is a Houston 1 fight as well. They use EMP early on in that fight, and the problem for Boston is that they just used Nano, unable to get any value out of that ultimate. If Boston wants to hold, it's going to be on the tanks. Notes, Fusions, Axiom, all coming online with their very impactful ultimate abilities.
They don't have a whole lot of room to maneuver, though, and it's looking good. Muma removing this shield. Not quite there. Fusions does manage to survive, and it's Note throwing the self-destruct out, but that's not going to be a problem here for Houston. Follow-up point-blank shatter from Muma, and Houston Outlaws fighting back. Third point taken for them. They will tie it up 3-3.
Saw the ultimates come out late, but one ultimate that remained in their hands was Axiom's Graviton Surge. He died at 99%. Has to be absolutely gutted about it. Then they started using ultimates to stall and hope that the grab would come back. Not enough as Houston able to finish the battle.
Curious to see. Bit more experience on the Houston side in sort of a lineup. They've been in crunch time before. Wondering right now if Boston, they're feeling just a little shaky. Now that it's match point, it's on you to keep it together and get the job done.
Boston trying to close it out and get their first win of this Overwatch League 2019 season. They're on the cusp, but now we got to do Dorado again. You see the time banks, well, not right now, at the top of your screen. It's going to be 2.5 minutes to 1 minute and 20 seconds, which is a not insignificant number.
Well, we've seen, I mean, Boston are the ones who are struggling. Houston looked very clean. So Boston Uprising right now, minute 20. They got the job done on Volskaya, Hex, right? They're capable. Now it's exactly, are they clutch when it comes to finishing series? Can they bring it home? Can they finish it and get the job done? That's what we're going to be watching for now, as Boston last minute adjustments on their side of things. Houston Outlaws, it's looking like they're going to stick with Dante on the Sombra. So they want to have those EMPs, they want to have those hacks. Those have been very effective so far. So they'll be keeping to that strategy. Boston Uprising, more of the same. Fusions on the Winston this time to give him that vertical aspect in his movement.
Just gonna try to push the car here. Gonna wait until Dante finds something, and then maybe you collapse on it. You can also just give a little bit of push for free right now because there's no reason to really fight down on the point right now. They might just contest and wait for overtime, try to push them off and just end their push right there.
Could be exactly just hanging out. I mean, this is a bit more standard fare here from Houston. Looking for the kill. Fusion's way out there. Should be able to back off. He's got Note there to back him up as well. And they're just trying to run him over. Linkser dropping dangerously low. And Linkser will fall at the hands of Axiom. But they do trade it for Aim God on Houston's side. Boy, not going to make it. And Boston now, this is an edge. Both supports, 2 supports at least, dead for Houston Outlaws. It's not going to help things here.
Fusions does fall, but it's too little too late. Only 2 alive right now near the cart for the Houston Outlaws. As Boston continues to push, Raucus will be the next to fall cleaned up there. And that ominous music you hear in the background means that we are nearing overtime. Must stay on the cart or your offense is over.
Exactly right. They'll always have to keep a body alive on it. 5 seconds left. Houston could go for the challenge. EMP is here. As you can see, Dante looking for that high-value target. Aim God would be pretty good. Yep, goes straight for Aim God. Eliminates him immediately. Does not get the follow-up hack, but the kills are coming through here for Houston Outlaws on the back of it. The self-destruct kill on Kelix. And Boston Uprising, it's looking like this is where it's going to end for them.
We do have a self-destruct on the point, trying to remake. Raucus glowing with that nano on him, trying to get as much damage done as humanly possible. Being really annoying are the Boston tanks who somehow just won't die. Can they buy enough time for their team to reinforce?
Down barrier thrown in, gonna make it tough for Houston to die at this point. Raucus on that high ground, chucking in the orb. Self-destruct kill on Fusions, that's big. Boston Uprising still battling back, though. A follow-up EMP from Dante. A couple of them hacked. They have to play careful on Boston's side. Houston doing a good job of keeping it together.
There's no way that Boston's able to pull this one back. I'm surprised they've been in the fight this long as well. They've got a Hammond on the cart trying to stall out, but without kills, it's going to be over. Yet another nano boost comes in on Muma.
It's been bonkers how fast these ults have been coming online for both of these teams, but certainly this has got to be it. Houston Outlaws, they need to get the kill on Kelix, who's playing clever, hiding behind the cart. No, trying to boost his way back into the fight as well. Finally, Kelix goes down, and that will be it. Half a meter from the first point is where that push will get stalled out.
Houston Outlaws trying to treat us to a map number 5. If they're able to make more progress on the payload on this escort map, we will be going to map 5 indeed as our tiebreakers. This one has been as close can be.
Back to the first style of map that we saw in this series, Control, King of the Hill style. And while we saw Houston Outlaws look very good on that map style, so this may favor Houston in the long run. But we were in a similar situation with Houston just even a couple days ago, so we'll see.
I love Fusion's aggressive play style. However, I wonder if it hurts them sometimes, especially on Winston. His Reinhardt play style is really good because the ultimate is so valuable. Being aggressive does more damage, charges the ult faster, and he gets shatters up every minute, as we've seen in the past. However, on Winston being that aggressive and the ultimate a little less impactful, hurts them, and he's died most of anyone in the game right now, and 13 deaths so far in Dorado.
That's the thing you need to keep. Again, we were touching on this going into the match. We were touching on this prior. It's just the tanks. You need to keep those tanks up. But it's the crowd control of Earthshatter as well. It's such a huge difference maker. It's not only is it a bit of damage, but it's knocking people over. It's stunning them. It's not allowing them to use abilities. Still, Boston, we'll see if they can hold. They've got a lot of work ahead of them here. 2 minutes, 30 seconds for Houston Outlaws. Curious to see, are we going to get a change of strategy here? Nope, Dante's going to be sticking to the Sombra. Looks like Cool Mad is going to be the one going over to the Zarya. And once again, Dante right at home in the back line. Hey, that's a big hack. Axiom out of the fight immediately almost. Has to play very carefully.
Pretty good, but Boston gets the first 2 kills there while their entire team remains intact. So right now, a very good defense. They're holding very far forward because if they lose one fight, they'll still have a chance to come back and defend on the second half of this map as we dip below 2 minutes left in the time bank.
Exactly. Thank God looking for the back line right now. And sure enough, they know where Dante's playing from, so it's just something to keep an eye on. Aim God dropping low, the focus is great. Dante eventually takes him out of the fight. Aim God out of it, Blase as well. Boston Uprising now losing players, and Fusions will be the one to follow without the supports there to help him out, to keep him topped up. Houston Outlaws now took them a moment to adjust. They've donated a minute, but now they win the first engagement, the first real engagement, that is. And we're going to get into the thick of things here. Minute and 20 seconds now for Houston Outlaws.
Well, it's going to be Reinhardt versus Reinhardt here. Both Earth Shatters are up and ready to use. Earthshatter does not go through shield, so it's generally a dance between Rhine v. Rhine, sometimes called the Rhine games, like the mind games that they're going to be playing against each other, but a big shatter from either side can seal it.
Oh, what a monster on the defense, and Houston Outlaws now, it's looking like we're gonna get a map 5, Hex.
EMP makes all things possible. EMP's the opposing tank. Shield drop, shatter down, wins the fight.
Dante once again showing why he's one of the best Sombras in the business. His position, he's always where he needs to be. The real hero here for Houston Outlaws. We're taking a break, and when we come back, we'll find out who will take the win on map 5. Welcome back from the break, everybody. Hex, I know you're bursting, waiting to see this 5th map right now. What can we expect?
Well, we're going back to our control style map, but it's going to be a different scenic view. We're going to Ilios instead of Nepal. Lovely Greece, little ships out at sea. And I don't know, I think Houston's had a great deal of success with the Sombra, but it's not necessarily something you see on control point maps. It's not necessarily what you want. I don't know, man. I want to see Widow v Widow. I want to see Linkser on it. I don't know who on Boston would play it, but whatever.
We have seen, well, now we have seen every hero played out of the 29. They've been used in strategies, but we are seeing quite a few of the tanks and the supports. That's really the dominant strategy used right now in Overwatch League. But you're right, damage dealers, Widow, that's what we got to see a lot last season, the snipers going at it. It's always exciting. I mean, headshots, there you go.
It's always fun on Ilios when you play Lucio. Of course, he's got the Sound Blast ability to knock people around. And on control maps especially, there often are areas where people can fall into and die over the edge, into the water, into the drink if you were. So environmental kills can be something that we'll see on Ilios for sure. Hopefully we get to see some of those, colloquially referred to as the boops.
Maybe not Widow, but maybe Farah. We saw some success there earlier today. So kind of an option that's possible here on Ilios.
I think it'd be really smart for Houston to run a Farah because you know what Boston's going to run. Right now, they simply don't have the roster which gives them the versatility that they're looking for. So Boston is going to run what Boston's run all day. Why not throw a Farah into that? Maybe a Reaper into the mix. Linkser has a good Reaper as well. So there's a lot of options. That said, we may end up just seeing 3 tanks and 3 supports on both sides.
I think we have to keep an eye on Flame, the general manager for Houston, if he sees a Reaper. So I think that cost them in their last match on Houston's side, might have cost them the win. So Flame might be throwing some furniture around if he sees Linkser go for the Reaper again here in clutch time.
Yeah, Matt, you know, you got to come by Matt and see Summer's impression of you. It's pretty good. It's pretty rock solid impression.
It on stage. But yeah, we're tied up right now going into map 5. This is a best of 5. We're looking for the first team to get to 3 map wins. And so Houston Outlaws, Boston Uprising, they're about to go toe to toe. Well, with everything on the line, 10 seconds left.
A best of 3 here on Ilios. First 2 stages wins the map, thus the set. Let's get into it, Ilios. Beautiful. Titan of Bravos in the background there as well. See what these teams want to run, and it does seem like we've got very similar compositions. 3 tanks, 3 supports. Let's slug it out.
Houston may be regretting the decision to go aggressive damage dealers in the past. Seems like they're just going to stick to their guns. They have been doing well enough playing in the 3-3 kind of setup. Now it's just about who's going to flinch, who's going to make the mistake that's going to cost them. And while we talked a little bit about this, you know, Boston lacking a little bit of experience here on the main stage, whereas Houston, it's a team of veterans. Houston perhaps counting on that to win out, but the Note has got something to say. Muma and Rock is dead.
So far, better trades for Boston to be able to take on those key figures. 3 on the point. They're trying to get the progress done and take control of the point, start counting up percentage, but Boston has something else to say about it. They will evict them off their control point and will start counting percentage of their own.
This is exciting. This is great. This is the redemption story for Houston. They lost on map 5 last time. This week, can they get it done this time around? Boston now. They've got ults online. Fusion's surprisingly far off the Shatter, but Aim God and Blase. Now we've got these support ultimates coming here for Boston Uprising, going to make them very tough to take down, so they should have an edge in this fight. Houston Outlaws right now just kind of poking, trying to figure out if they can get in here, and then Muma gets bored with all that story, and he decides he wants to smack somebody in the face with his hammer, and there it is. Dante just throwing out the grab. Trance is through, however, from Aim God, keeping his teammates alive. Raucus is dead, and Muma just decides to go for the hero shatter. That's not gonna work. Boink eliminated, and Boston hold.
Aim God has been absolutely nutty for this Boston Uprising roster. He was on the roster last year, but in a secondary role. They traded away the player he's replacing, and now he's stepped in the lineup, and he's living up to his name. The reason they have Transcendence there is because he's able to do so much damage, able to hit those orbs from long distance. Aim God, a literal Aim God.
He's doubling Raucus' damage right now, just to point out. So Aim God is definitely hitting shots. Raucus is gonna have to play catch up, and Raucus, he gets clipped down to half HP. That's gonna be Boink committing in with the sound barrier. Counter sound barrier coming through. Axiom, however, his grab gets eaten up by Coolmat. Big ultimate thrown out the window for nothing.
Meanwhile, though, Boston's still accruing percentage on the point. If they win this fight, they very well will take the stage. Now back and forth. Boink is going to knock Aim God over the edge, and Houston might just have the horses to finish out this capture.
Oh, he gets the knee back on him. Okay, then, no. Never give up without a fight, and it'll be going Houston's way. But 89% for Boston Uprising. One good fight for them, and that's going to be it. They'll take the lead on this last map. Houston Outlaws now on them to stand strong here.
Got a lot of tools to do it too. Fusions could put his stamp on this match if he hits a really nice shatter. Him versus Muma on the Shatter Wars yet again. They're gonna kick it off with Rally.
Oh, Shatter thrown out by Fusions, connects with one. No follow-up possible though by the looks of things, and the Rally is out for Linkser, beefing up the rest of his team. Shatter not going to find anybody. Kellick's actually going to get focused, but he should not die. Coolmat not going to be able to confirm that kill. Coolmat, you got to watch your back. You got to watch the rest of your team. They're all dying. Boston Uprising right now looking fantastic.
Kellick's gonna return the favor, knock Raucus off of the edge, and now desperation time for Houston. They've got a Diva in position on the lower part of the map to try to get there in touch, but he's gonna be focused out as quickly.
Body blocked, not gonna get in here quick. Eliminated immediately, the Trance is thrown in. They're going for a ride, and that doesn't matter because now Boston Uprising are looking very good here to close it out. All about finding the kills. Muma and Coolmat both dead. It should only be a matter of time now for Boston Uprising to take the lead on the final map of this series, and sure enough, they will. First point goes to Boston.
You can be as veteran as you want in the Overwatch League, but if the Houston Outlaws aren't sweating now, I don't know when they will, because they got reverse swept in their first match. Now we're in map 5. Starting off the year with 2 to 3 losses would be absolutely gut-wrenching.
It would be brutal for a team of Houston Outlaws caliber. Not the start that they envisioned, but for Boston Uprising, I mean, it's just last season all over again. They have a system on that team, and it just seems to work. They are taking the fight and performing versus the top teams in the league. Now, however, they're in position to win this match point for Boston Uprising, and the man in question there, Aim God, definitely living up to his name.
He has played so well. In the few times he was able to play last year, was actually putting up better numbers than the person who was starting in front of him instead. But now, for all the marbles for Boston, we're gonna head to the well. We like to call it the murder hole, because there's a giant hole in the middle of the map you can get knocked down into, and you're not coming back up.
The Linkser nearly died there. Aim God nearly clipped him in the first round. That would have been sick. Aim God already up to 21% on his Trance just because of that. Sick progress on his part, but Houston Outlaws, point has become active, and now it's the fight, and Aim God, oh, he gets yanked into oblivion. Muma puts him out of his misery. Aim God is out of it. Now Boston down a man, And this is going to get real tough for him. Axiom nearly gets plummeted as well, but it's looking like they will have to back off here, Boston, and go for the reset. Liking the change of strategy here from Houston Outlaws, getting the McCree into the fight.
A couple of heroes we have not seen in the match yet today. Orisa is what Muma is playing. Giant quadruped with a really nice shield, but you saw the ability to pull someone with your Halt ability right into the hole. This is one of the matches and stages she's used on most often. And of course, Linkser, it's as simple as it gets. A cowboy with a 6-shooter does a lot of damage.
It's worth keeping an eye on. Muma, with that Halt, it's like a miniature Grav. We're talking a lot about Graviton. These are the Zarya ultimate abilities. Linkser's got that on cooldown. So keep an eye out. Right now it's going to be Linkser moving through, just fanning the hammer, trying to find a kill. Turns out it's the rest of his team that are going to die, though. That's not going to help things here for him. Oh, never mind.
Muma gets another kill into the hole. That's 2 yoinks, 2 halts right into the hole, drops him down into oblivion as they're getting to about 50% here. It has been all Houston on this stage of Ilios.
Targets are dying and Boston are dying, and right now they're at 50% for the Houston Outlaws. So 50% and climbing, and now we have the great stall abilities as well. High Noon, you can just throw that out there and force Boston to take cover.
See if he gets any value out of this Deadeye. Targets heroes, able to eliminate them immediately once their icon turns to a skull. It's a difficult ult to use.
Difficult positioning, but with the sound barrier out now, exactly, he's got the bit of a buff on the HP. He's going to make it more difficult to kill him. And you can see Boston Uprising all have to hide around the corner. If they show themselves, they can get picked off. As soon as it wears off, though, Boston Uprising now straight onto the point, looking for the fight. And again, a key player getting chucked into the murder hole. Axiom is out of it. Fusions goes primal, trying to bring it back. They need to find a kill quick here, Boston. Houston, however, oh, there it is again, boy, ruthless.
Boink
3 kills, 3 kills. Oh, nearly another one, Muma. He just doesn't stop.
Some of these guys have been doubly dead. They get boinked and then they also get halted into the hole as well. Boston's done nothing on this stage. That nothingness will continue. And you know what, Semler? It's been a great match. It would be unfitting if we didn't go to map 3 of Ilios to decide it all.
That's it. No further can we go, Hex. This is where it all gets settled. Who's going home with the W and who's going home with the L? Still impressed and glad to see that Linkser is able to show us what he is capable of. Only the 1 kill, though. But really, it's just about the damage, the constant damage output on that McCree.
You have to worry about it as well. It slows down a team's ability to dive on you, because if Winston jumps in, McCree's got a flashbang, which is going to stun you, and then you're just dead. So you can't jump in, mess around, and jump out. He's very good at stopping aggression from opposing teams.
This time, however, on a map that we're used to seeing a lot of Widow on, it's not looking like we're going to get that show from Linkser this time around. It is going to be a mirror match by the looks of things. Nope. Muma on the Winston, and Fusion's on the Rhine.
Okay. I doubt Boston's ever going to go towards the right side, given how many environmental deaths they took last match.
Those environmental deaths, it'll come back to bite you. Boston, you just got to shake it off. Got to shake it off, get focused up here. Now or never, this is it. So, nope. Kind of hanging out on the edges, looking for those squishies. If he can find one of the supports out of position, he's looking to pounce. Has to keep an eye on his team as well. Aim God will get topped up again. Coolmat dangerously low. Coolmat team-maxed immediately, though. This is big for Boston. This should set them up to pick up the first control, and sure enough, the kill on Dante is certainly going to help things.
Boink with a couple of kills, trying to bring his team back, but he's the only one on the board. It will be Boston Uprising eventually taking first point, and Boink with a late death means that they're going to have to take some time before they can recontest. Right now, though, nearing ultimate phase of the game, Muma's going to switch off of Winston onto Reinhardt, an entirely different style of play. It seems like we're nearing a Graviton surge for the Uprising. Axiom at 80%, Dante only nearing 40 now, so big advantage for Boston.
They have got exactly infusions. He is not afraid to just throw the shatter out there if he sees it. Muma having switched to the Rhine now, he has to worry about that shield. But still, Boston going to put up a fight for every inch, not going to let Houston Outlaws get onto the point for free. And now Fusion's just waiting for a target to present itself.
so tense right now. AimGod's trying to stay as far away from his team as possible in case they get shattered. Here comes the Graviton. Is there any follow-up for it?
Counter grab gets thrown in. Transcendence thrown into the mix as well by Raucus, trying to keep his teammates up. The sound barrier is up as well. Kellick's going to counter that with the sound barrier of his own. This is all about timing. Both of the Rhines out of the fight. Fusion didn't even get to use his shatter. So they're both out of the mix. 5-on-5 right now. Still, the fight continues with the supports. So good right now, keeping their team up. Dante still looking for an angle to make the grab work, and exactly hides it behind the pillar. Going to bring a couple targets into it, and Axiom, the focus fire is too good. He can't survive. Houston Outlaws now with the edge.
The longer, slower, more drawn out this fight is, the happier Boston is, because they are in control of the point right now. Look at that percent, keeps going up. Boston's happy to just hang out and trade all day.
They're doing a great job of stalling this out. 81% and counting now for Boston Uprising. The kills finally go Houston's way, and that's going to be it. Finally, Houston will take control. 86% for Boston Uprising. This is very similar to the first point of Ilios. One good fight for Boston now, and they could be walking away with the win tonight.
Houston's also in a very good spot ultimate-wise. It'll be interesting to see if Boston wants to try to just bait them into using abilities and fight next time, or really commit to this. We're going to see based on the ultimate usage for Boston. If they start committing check marks, then they're in it to win it.
They're really in there. Dante, though, with this high ground, he's just pumping damage in. Pumat's going to help out here. Have this! Self-destruct! Not going to find a kill, but still sowing chaos in the back ranks for Boston. And Boston, quick reset here. Get out of dodge. AimGod with the parting shot on Linkser. But they're going to get chased all the way back to their shuttle.
I'm not in love with that Transcendence there. I thought the fight had already over. You only need one. Might as well accrue all of those resources possible. But AimGod is getting his ultimate ability up once every minute, so why not? Next fight, we could see finally Boston utilize a Graviton Surge into a Self-Destruct. Can they combo it to win the series?
They're on the point now. But again, it's on Houston Outlaws to keep contesting it. Houston Outlaws going to try and draw this out as best they can. There's the grab, self-destruct, thrown right above it. No, going to be looking for the bubble. He's only going to find Linkser. Good timing there from Raucus and everybody involved. Boink as well, keeping his team alive, but Muma's going to get pinned up against the wall. The sound barrier from Kellick's just making it too hard to take down the Boston Uprising. Boston Uprising right on the edge now of flipping the point. They're doing the best they can to stall it out, Houston, but it's not going to be good enough. 90% now for Boston Uprising. Match point.
Can Houston even get back to touch the point? There is a Brigida rotating around that I don't think they saw. Going to get on the point. Fusions is up front to stop everybody else, but that's it! Boston Uprising pulls off Ilios, pulls off map 5, pulls off the victory over the Houston Outlaws.
Linkser, just both hands to the face, can't believe it. Houston Outlaws with a very difficult start to the season. Boston Uprising, though, excellent performance versus the NYXL, and a win here today versus the Houston Outlaws. Nobody can underestimate this team now. They are true monsters.
Their only loss to the NYXL so far, 1-1, and I think this is how Boston wants to start the season. Let's just stick around. Let's keep our heads above water. We'll get players back. Maybe we'll make some moves. Maybe we'll make some trades. But right now, the Boston Uprising, yet again, they rebuilt the roster. People underestimate them. You gotta be done underestimating the Boston Uprising.
They have too many weapons on this team. Fusions with the calls and the aggression. AimGod hitting shots left, right, and center. Truly impressive stuff here from Boston, and a well-deserved win for them. But we're now going to hand it over to our sideline reporter, Mika Burton. I believe she has an interview ready with Fusions himself.
Thanks, guys. We got Fusions here on the floor. Give it up for Fusions, you guys. That's right. All right, so your impressive tank play and your shot calling has helped lead Boston to victory today. How does it feel going from contenders to having so much responsibility now?
It's such a big difference. Playing on top of this stage is just something else, but playing with the players at the Overwatch League level, it's really like you learn a lot really quickly, and just being able to play in front of everyone here has just been so cool.
Well, it's been cool watching you. I know that everybody who's been watching at home has been impressed. I know that the casters have been impressed. And next week, you're going to be going up against Shanghai and the recently traded Gamsu. So how do you feel going tank v tank? Is there a little bit of more pressure to perform there?
Well, there's a bit of rivalry between my team and theirs, obviously, because of Gamsu being on Shanghai now. But we're just going to give it our best shot and prepare as much as we can for them like we did for today, and hopefully we can get another win.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And back to the casters.
Thank you, Mika. And yeah, you can definitely tell the Fusions has been calling shots there. You know, casters, we get it too, you know.
Yeah.
No voice left.
A little bit of, but I think he's done for the week, so he has a couple days to recuperate at least. But what a great call for him. I mean, the success story is so interesting to go from Overwatch World Cup team to Contenders team to now you're the face in front of the Boston Uprising, and you just beat one of the more dominant and established teams in the Overwatch League.
So now it's time to find out who our player of the match is. Sponsored by Owned by HP. It is going to be the man himself, with the names that is so sick. AimGod. AimGod will take it. I mean, after his performance on the last map, it can't be a shock. He pretty much doubled Brockus' stats, who's playing the Zenyatta on the other side. I mean, AimGod had such a high impact.
It just fits the narrative of this team so much. These kind of scrappy underdogs, right? AimGod was on this roster last year, didn't get starting playing time. Now he's got something to prove. You put me in the starting lineup, and look, Zenyatta, it's not super mechanical on where your heals go, when you're transcendenting, things like that, but just hitting shots so that you have Transcendence up, so you have the ability. Transcendence saves your team. You need it for when you get Graviton. If you don't have Transcendence up, that Graviton wipes your team. AimGod did a ton of damage, always great positioning, in the right spot, saved his team time and time again. No one deserves it more than AimGod.
Yeah, fantastic performance from him. Congratulations, and we'll see more MVPs probably going to be coming for him. He is a beast. But of course, guys, this was just the first match here, live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. But we have coming up next the Philadelphia Fusion versus the Atlanta Reign, and that's right after the break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Overwatch.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.